bombing me down with shit. I guess it is a different one. I have 3 different emails. Oh yeah, that's right. Messages. Ah, there we go. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, what's that?
Yeah, so this is all the stuff that she's been, like, sending me over since the 24th. So, like, half the time, I don't even look at the stuff that she's sending me, but she's very prolific. Like, I finally went through a bunch of this shit. Like, she told me that she sent me a bunch of shit, and then it was like... So
I see she's doxing the cow there.
Yeah, she doxed the cow there and a bunch of other people. You know, like, there's a lot of stuff in here. And she always sends it to this email address. Like, literally, so many things I haven't even opened because I honestly could give a fuck. But, I mean, I know that there's a decent amount in there because she kept on, like, you know, hitting me up about Nunez. Like,
so what was the thing down there about Pistis?
Which one?
You
see
like,
Pistis? Back 2 pages?
Yeah. But, yeah, right there. She even impersonated Pistis as a kid, to a kid.
Ah, I didn't even open that one up. Oh, this looks like Beth.
Oh, she's trying to, she's, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, I
What the
don't,
fuck?
wait here, how am I supposed to be able to, oh, yeah, there we go, I can just do that.
Oh my God.
I researched if anybody filed for a trademark. What the fuck? I'm telling you, bro, like, these people are so ridiculous. Like, look at this fucking oh my God, this dumbass bitch. Pistis Sophia, Saint-Germain.
Yeah, what's, yeah.
Oh man, what the fuck? Holy shit, bro.
Wait.
See, I don't even pay attention to this shit, like, half the time. So, like, there's so much stuff in here. I'm pretty sure I could probably just I could probably just give you the password to this Proton mail, because I can't fucking, like, I can't change it. If I change it, all the messages will get waxed. But I'm pretty sure there's really, the only thing that's connected to this is a PayPal account and some keybases and stuff. Oh, and a bunch of DMs with Lestat. Like a year ago.
Right.
Like, this was one that I was using on one of my different Twitter accounts. But, yeah, I haven't really even looked. Like, here's even me and... Wait, is that Doug Stewart? Is that Doug Stewart? Yeah, that's Doug Stewart. So, there's a lot going on, like, in here. But
I can see that. You weren't actually paying attention to, apparently.
Yeah, I could give a fuck about half of this shit. I was doing other shit. Like, Lestat's always like, oh, well, DeFago, you're on, like, every email with fucking Thomas. You know, half of those emails, the first time I saw them, and, you know, like, I'm doing it live, so, like, I'm literally showing me people, like, I'm opening the email for the first time.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, wow, I didn't even know. Like, what's this? Extortion? Wait. Ion is the root of the English language as I am inside secrets of the I am society. Like, the reason
what the hell is that?
This shit, yeah, the reason I don't read these things is because when you start reading these things, you're, like, hypnotizing yourself.
Well, yeah,
and
that's
capitalized words and shit. And that's what I know. That's why I didn't even look at this, and I don't even want to look at the screen right now.
That's fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, because she's fully... Oh, boy.
She's cranked into this shit, dude. Like,
really
I can tell.
She really is. Shit, dude.
Like, there's so much stuff in here that I haven't had the chance. Like, this is just all the new stuff. So,
well, I mean, if you're okay with it, I would be delighted to look for you, because this is like important shit, man. Like, I'm trying to nail down what exactly these people are doing exactly in this time frame, right after, right in 2018 when all this shit went down, No,
I feel you.
So I have a bunch of different points of view, you know what I'm saying? This is obviously, big. But I also, look, I don't need to get in your shit either. But it looks like interesting stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Interesting stuff. Like, there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. Pitch documents, like 29th or March 29th of 2019.
Oh.
Pitch documents for the Cicada
revised
movie.
Yeah.
So, like, this is stuff that I know Lestat probably has too, but, like, you know, this is what they were working on since then, and they were still building it up and everything, trying to buy into it. And I'm just kind of like, whatever, you know, like, I have all the stuff in my main one or whatever.
Right.
But
yeah.
I'm gonna have to go.
That's all good. There was one, like, I don't know if it was a puzzle or what it was, but it was like 10 stages. It was a Cicada thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? And it went, you know, it was basically like an apocalyptic sort of...
Red Triangle?
No, I mean, it were I don't know, maybe. But it was like a block of text, and there was, I saw just a part of it. And it seemed like it was from a proposal, but I only had one page of it.
A proposal, and it was a block of text.
Yeah, it was a Cicada. It was at some point back then, and it was like a blueprint for fucking theosophical apocalyptic ideology. It was crazy, and it seemed like it was in a document from 2018 from a Cicada server or something like that.
Why is there nothing in this fucking drive? Oh, right. I'm looking at the wrong one. All right. Let's see. So, like, there's a reason I don't ever talk about Beth. And anything that says Beth on it, you didn't get for me.
Totally.
Because not like that fucks me over big time. But
I know.
The only thing that I have reservations on is because I do have a legal thing.
Totally.
I can't even talk about it.
I mean, just so you know, Beth knows that we talk, and she's totally cool with it. Like she doesn't actually have any. I mean, as far as I can tell. Like, she's a little scared of you, you know, that kind of thing. But I don't think she doesn't hate you. She doesn't dislike you even, I think. So, you know, I think as long as everything stays cool, she's cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have a problem with any of them. I was just mad that she said that I owed her $500 in a lawsuit. And I was like, no, that's definitely not true.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about any of that shit, man. I get it. Does you know?
All
what
right,
I mean?
So there was a couple of things that were pretty weird that he was kind of like running. I don't know if he was running it simultaneously. I'm trying to go through here. A lot of the different puzzles, I actually did keep some pretty good notes on as we were going through. And this is the stuff, most of this stuff is stuff that Richard Miller did.
Right.
All of the stuff, actually, Richard Miller did.
Right.
Nobody else did any of this stuff or had a hand into it except for, like, the videos. I think Lestat did a couple of them, and then the other guy that was doing them was this guy named Brian Word.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were... So, like, Anonymous Scandinavia. Have you heard of Anonymous Scandinavia before?
Yeah. What's up with that?
So, they were super into a non-scan and, like, moving. They were doing, like, cicada-like runes in their shit. And there was a lot of, like, interpolation between those two groups, which I thought was kind of strange because of the way that they were doing it. And they were talking about, like, Vault 8 leaks and a bunch of other crap. And this is just stuff that I had been collecting over time. But I'm just trying to, like, go through all the stuff that I have. Because this is literally, like...
Yeah, there's like a Scandinavia connection right at the beginning. Like, a lot of the early QAnon boosters were Dutch. Do you have any idea why? No.
If they were friends with Thomas, then that would probably be the only thing that I could really understand about it. I mean, that was wait, here's one thing. I think that's a strange thing. I didn't really notice a lot of Dutch people. I actually noticed Australian people everywhere.
Yeah, there's that too. They mainly come from the left, though.
Yeah, I mean, most of those guys are just kind of, like, strange, I think. So,
well, yeah.
Well, like, the way that they started it out for the puzzles that I started, like, I actually still have everything that we did, and, you know, like, I was keeping notes on how they, like, brought themselves in, all their puzzle shit. So a lot of stuff that I think predated some people, but now I have like all of the background materials, so I could see that, you know, like we were pretty much like they were pretty much just making this thing as we were doing it, right?
Oh, totally. It was performance art. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got all the way into the everyday performance art puzzle thing. It's a fucking grind, man.
Is this it? Right here is deep sound. The purpose is not to spread a plague, but to deliver
No,
fire.
it wasn't in a puzzle. It was in a document. It was like a proposal.
I would probably have to be something that was like here, because there was the outline pitch. Let's see this one. What the fuck is this shit? Why is this? You know what? Why am I not showing you the desktop and just showing you that stupid window? Is it number 2 or number 3? Number 1. All right. I don't know, this is all shit that I haven't opened up. This seems like it might be something, because this looks like it's part of the outline right here.
No, it's all right. I'll find the. I have it somewhere. I thought maybe it would ring a bell. That's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember anything like that.
Yeah, because it's just you know, I've been trying to figure out Thomas's exact, like, you know, ideology, like what is actually driving this guy, and it's definitely a cult, and it's definitely apocalyptic. And I have some people who think he's a trad, which is a special kind of like occult Catholic sort of fascist thing that Bannon actually is. And it's a scary prospect, because those guys believe they're fully like cyclical apocalyptic ideologues. They believe that everything has to get burned up in fire in order for them to rise as elites.
Well, this is something that was kind of strange. Hot winds blowing through the South Chicago as 3 men gingerly plant a suitcase near a dumpster. The number 303 and an ox appear at the Double Door Liquors bomb place. When it goes, the nation shudders. Casualties under 10,000, but contamination spreads. They blame Iran, but it's not Iran. It's domestic and CIA involved. Panic spread, and there are black-on-white riots in other cities. Iran is attacked by the U.S., Saudi, and UK troop. Russia starts taking out Israeli aircraft, then the news of other attacks in American cities happen. March 2016, 2018. That's what he wanted to put into the puzzle.
Yeah.
And I was like, a bomb? And then I never put that shit in the puzzle, because I was like, oh, I'm not putting that in a fucking puzzle. But yeah, no, that's if you're like looking for apocalyptic and shit like that, there is stuff like that I consider for sure. I mean, their whole entire ideology on this building the trademark was trying to get this apocalyptic, you know, battle. I saw them trying to develop almost like a civil war, because every time I would catch Thomas playing on both sides, like, you know, he'd be running Bernie accounts, he'd be running fucking Hillary accounts, he was running fucking Trump accounts. And some of them, he just, like, changed the name, and he never actually updated, like, the tweets or anything. So it's like he just went from Bernie to Trump, and there was a lot of guys, like, I think one of them, Quantum Packets, was like that. And that's why everybody thought he was Thomas for a long time, because, like, legitimately, it's the same exact thing that he did.
Right. Did you look into that dude?
Which dude?
The one I told you is Quantum Packets.
Well, I think I, like, opened up his shit, and I looked at him, and I was like, I kind of recognize that dude. What was his name again?
Helkenberg.
So I could type it in. What is it? Elkenberg?
Helkenberg. Helkenberg.
Helkenberg?
That guy.
JW? Yeah, this guy right here definitely looks very interesting. Kansas City, Missouri, and he was an author?
He sells a bunch of fucking, like, repackaged occult bullshit. But he's really fucking smart. Like he's like genuinely genius level smart, but he's also super autistic, and so you know he's a challenging fellow. And you'll see that there's quantum shit all over all this stuff, and if you look at his super, what is it? Super Observer is his kind of handle in a whole bunch of different places, and you know he's always talking, you know, serious mathematics and physics and shit like that. So
it reminds me of Gavin Wentz.
Yeah, his girlfriend's named Jennifer Logsdon. She's an artist that got sued by Matt Fury over Pepe. That guy. That's the guy.
Oh yeah, it's the same one from the same one from this right here. UFO
That's
Holiday.
the dude.
Looks like almost the same. My shtick. He's got 20 subscribers. That's it. Well.
No.
Now you got proper, motherfucker. Project Properness is on your ass now, bitch.
Anyway, you have fun with that, but please do not let it out, okay? Because there is press working on it.
I have a connected person.
Uh-oh.
Mutual friends: Stephen Widener, Douglas, Leroy Rushing. Oh. These three motherfuckers.
Oh, you got some.
These motherfuckers they friended me a long time ago at the beginning of all this nonsense with the Cicada.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, I'm like, where the fuck did I meet this guy? I'm pretty sure I met this guy at a music festival. Yep. Garden of the Gods. Yep, I remember this guy. Oh, yeah. Drugs, you know, whatever.
Uh-huh.
That's how it is for most of these people. Like, oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I definitely remember this cat. And then it's all these guys, like, that are always the same. You know, they post, like, really weird shit, talk about the thought police. But they're pretty insane trolls. Yeah. Actually, but like most of them, what I've done is like followed them. Like this Leroy guy, a lot of them are just like they're all into the same occultic shit,
right? That
just kind of rush through, so it doesn't even surprise me in the least. This one right here, though, journalist and commentator for Revision Media and Zombie Apocalypse Fighter. This guy has been in a lot of different stuff, and I mean, look, here he is with the fucking Fox News shit.
Of course.
Hey, man. CCP, isn't that anti-CCP Chinese communist propaganda? I can't fucking pay attention anymore. There's too much shit going on.
It is anti-CCP. It's Falun Gong.
Yeah, so it's Falun Gong. So
it's fucking
like, okay, so
it's
we're
Guo
for a cult instead of China. Okay, that's cool.
It's Guo and Bannon and fucking, you know,
end of the world shit.
Yes.
These guys want to see peace in the Middle East. So
no. When Bannon
back and shit.
When Bannon said, I want to destroy the administrative state, he meant it. Like, he means destroy everything. And then, I'm just saying. These fucking people, man.
No, they're absolutely insane. What the fuck is this shit? You destroyed my musical career.
Oh, good God.
Oh, my God. And my chances were part of the Sony deal. I was going to sue you for $1 to make a point. Now it's far more serious. Oh, wow. Dude, this is just fucked up, man.
Yeah. No, like, you don't need to look at that kind of shit. Like, I'm interested in, like, what the fuck was he doing with Lisa? What was he doing with Pasoviak? What the fuck was going on then? That, you know, I've also heard people say Thomas sort of disappeared for a couple of weeks.
When he went to the desert?
I don't know. Did he go to the desert?
That's what he said. Where he said he went was the desert. He told some people he went to Vienna. I mean, do I believe any of that shit? No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he kept his fat ass there. What is this shit even that they're even sending me? Oh, wow. I've got Tanya, the paralegal for Mr. Best CC'd. Hi, Tanya. Just one more threatening email to go along with the text and phone calls. Who's Sweet Domination? 3301. I'd reckon I'm about to have a field day with this shit about Angel Siller. You're a heavy, disgusting bastard, by the way. Yeah, I don't know what half of this shit is. That's why I'm just like, this is what I have to do in order to understand this shit. Because, like, literally, it's just like she's sending me all of this crap, like, from, I don't even know, years and years and years ago with different updates and stuff.
Right.
From, like, him crying to Tanya about, like, taking his case and them just being like, and this is in 2018.
Right.
Where she's just like, no, I'm not going to take your case, but, if you guys want to do some cool shit with Cicada or whatever, she's like, I'll fund that. Right. Like, that's what I see coming from her. This is when she sends out Meredith shit. So here's the complaint on the 5th that she had filed. Look at this. Do not forward this email to anyone but MBS.
What?
Who the fuck is MBS? Oh, wait. Meredith. Something. Well, you failed, Tanya. Fail. These are the people that you're dealing with, dude. So, like, you're not dealing with the best. Like, Stephen Biss will forward shit to his wife from his Earthlink fucking email and be all like, can you not forward this to anybody? And then it's all like, disclosure, this is private communications, blah, 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 blah. And then she's just like, whoo, sends it right out. So, like, I have to be there. And that was just kind of, like, crazy to me. You ever heard of Tori?
No.
She's another criminal big into QAnon. She was one of... Tor says. I got her white pretty good, actually. I'm pretty sure some people that mattered watched a video that I made about her and how much of a criminal she is, but somehow this QAnon channel survived. She's a huge QAnon supporter, and she was like involved with a bunch of these other documentaries, but she's like seriously a fucking criminal. And I got her like taken off of Red State Radio and a bunch of other places by simply just doing a video on her. But like, she's been hiding on the outside. She's been hiding on the outskirts of QAnon.
Mm-hmm.
The Thomas's fucking zone to the point where she talks about Isaac Cappy, and I mean, she's trying to get into the Obama Spygate thing by saying that she was the whistleblower or the person that like hacked in and got the passports, even though we know it was 3 fucking Chinese dudes.
Right.
I mean, it's like very, very, very ridiculous, but like Tor says is definitely one of those people that like they've got their Twitter accounts and shit taken out, but like the people on the right now at least understand that she's a criminal, so like they'll stop. They're not supporting her that way, but like it's really hard to get her off because she's smart enough to not be like outwardly QAnon to the max, but like she's completely Q-tarded, and I mean she's like definitely a dangerous criminal pedophile husband, and it's like a really sad. It's like a really fucking sad story. So I just like. That's probably the reason that my YouTube channel really got taken down is just because, like, when I go in on these people, I fucking devastate them.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, that's what I do. Is just, like, I just put out the truth, the facts, and, some people are like, oh, you're bullying people, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm bullying internet criminals, stealing money from people on the internet based on lies. Yeah, I'm a fucking bad guy. I get it. My bad. So... I believe that most of this is a clusterfuck. I mean... Yeah,
I agree. I saw something about Bacon in there. What's the deal with Bacon?
Frank Bacon?
Yeah. Is he...
Frank Bacon?
Yeah. How deep is he? Or is he just like a fucking, like... Just one of those guys who's always there running his mouth and doing shit like making steam it?
Yeah, he's basically kind of like that, actually.
So he's not like, I mean, put it this way. Do you think that motherfucker knows who Q is?
Him? Yeah. Absolutely not. No,
okay.
No. Like, Frank Bacon is, like, the most insane troll that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
He glommed on to me in the Cicada thing, and then he, like, figured out where I lived. Down to where he got the only hotel within, like, 1.5 miles of my place.
Oh, my God.
And he was like, yeah, man, well, I got this place, the La Quinta Inn right here. And, you know, like, I'm going to be staying at this one. And I was just like, wait a minute. Like, how the fuck did he know that that's the one that he needs to be at? But it's like, he was straight internet stalking me, like, definitely looking at where I was driving so that he could be in the right place at the right time. And then he shows up, we smoked some weed in the parking lot. There was, like, some fucking cops that were like, there was a bunch of cops around. Like, that the entire time. It was really sketchy, honestly. And what we were doing was technically not legal, so, you know, like, It was whatever. But Frank Bacon, that's when he, like, laid it on me, where he was like, yeah, so, you know, I write a science fiction novel with the internet, so I just interject myself into everything. And, you know, like, I want you to help me write myself into your story. And I'm just like, no.
Right.
And he was like, well, it's too late. I'm already in it. So there. And then I was just like, fuck, this guy.
What the hell,
he's
man?
Insane. Like, he's a parasite, but not a parasite. He's actually a really nice guy. Really nice guy. So, like, when I was on my way to Texas, like, I actually had to drive through New Mexico. So I fucking stopped and visited him. You know, like, I went to his house and I met him and his brother. I, like, fixed his computer. Stayed the night at his place, and then the next day he took me over to meet his parents, and then that's when I was kind of like, what the fuck? And his parents, his mom is some lady, I can't remember what her fucking name is.
Lynn.
Lynn, there you go.
Yeah, and
she has something to do with MUFON.
She is, yes. She was at one point on the board of directors of MUFON.
Correct. She was big shit into MUFON. I remember her voice, like, it was clear as day. I was just kind of like, holy shit, you're the lady from all those, like, documentaries and
right.
That were completely bullshit.
Totally.
Like, I was pissed. Like, because I'm literally standing in their house, like, and it's her and her husband, and, like, I'm just kind of like, okay, so, like, I'm in PSYOP Central right now, so,
you
like, no wonder this is how Frank Bacon is, because, like, he doesn't have some fucking crazy story that he's writing, but his parents are set for life because of all the UFO shit that they did, that, like, he could make up any, like, stupid fucking story, and that's what he does. Like, he got himself, tried to glom into Cicada, then he became friends with Thomas, and I don't know if they were friends before that. I don't have any information to prove or deny that. I just know I met him. Yeah. After that, I went to Texas, and then, you know, like, he sided with Thomas, and then I was just like, fuck you. I was like, peace, motherfucker.
Right.
And I never talked to the guy, but I've noticed him basically doing the same thing, and it was hysterical. I interviewed a guy that was, like, in Austin Steinbart's camp, some Canadian dude that, like, fucking came from Canada to come to Arizona and hang out with Austin Steinbart. Like, some crazy fucking people. So I interviewed this dick shit. And he was like, it was so surreal because, like, he was treating me like he was not, like, one of the crazier persons I had ever met, you know, because he did all this shit. He was like, no, man, I'm like you. I was on the inside. And I'm like, all right, I'll let you play that, LARP. That's fine. We can play that, you know. If it makes you happy, why not? I'll believe that. You know, let's believe it, everyone, please. And, you know, like, he was there, and he was like, yeah, man, there was, like, hidden cameras set up, and there was, like, all of this shit going on, but he was like, yeah, like, Austin used to talk about Frank Bacon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, And apparently, like, that's immediately after they had left me. Like, it's a very short cycle of things. So, like, there was this thing that happened called VOP, Veterans on Patrol, and Tucson, Arizona.
And
it was sketchy as fuck to me because it was that Screwy Louie guy who had showed up over when they were doing the thing in Oregon, when, like, the Lavoy Finicum and the boys went up there to, like, I guess, like, shut it down and, like, take it over the federal land. You remember that
shit? Yeah.
Remember when those alt-right motherfuckers are doing some crazy shit?
Yep.
So when that was happening around the same time is when that happened, and then it was very much later, one of the guys that they had kicked out saying he was like a Fed narc started some like grift in Arizona where they were like, oh, we found a child's baby skull, and like it's crazy, it's a rape camp, there's all kinds of shit going on. And I was like, I could go investigate this. And it was like, it's something that I could do. So I got in my shitty Celica, 97 Celica, actually it was still a great car, and I started driving down. I get to Casa Grande, Arizona, and I stop off at the AMPM that I always go to, like I've been to that AMPM so many times, and it's always like it's a magical place for me. And I literally go inside, I take a piss, I gas up, I put I guess I left my wallet on top of the like car or something like that, and then I just drove off. And I start going down to Tucson, and I'm literally like outside of Marana, and then I'm like patting myself down, and I'm like, where the fuck is my wallet? And I was just like, oh fuck. So I flip a bitch, and then I go back to the gas station, and like I was on a live stream, so like this, I can't make this shit up, right? And I literally can't find my fucking ID at the gas station, so I'm freaking out because I was like, shit, I don't have anything outside of this. I don't even have any cash. Like this is fucked up,
right?
And like no ID, no secondary ID, nothing. And I go into Burger King and just like go through the drive-through at Burger King, and I just like, hey man, did anybody turn in a wallet? And this guy's just like, oh yeah, what was the name on the card? And I was like, it'd be in like a little, well, it's probably wrapped in duct tape, and it's like camo duct tape, but the card's names, and I give my name, Manny Chavez and a third, and he was like, oh yeah, here you go. And I was like, oh thanks. And he was like, there's no way that you could have known that it was been in that like duct tape wallet thing they made. And I was just like, thanks. So, like, I just took it as a sign, like, I'm Catholic, I make the jokes all the time, but, like, I have a connection, right? Or at least I like to think that I have a connection with some sort of source or God or whoever. Right. But I took that as a message from the universe to get the fuck home.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, I'm going to drive home, and I'm just going to forget about this. And literally, one of the guys I was working with Gangplank at the time, his name was Chris. He decided that he was going to go instead, and he went down there, and he was actually in, like, videos and shit with them. But, like, that's when Austin Steinbart got roped into the whole thing. Like, right. Chozo was also working with Schoenberger, so it's like, after I left, like, it was a pretty quick thing. After I ditched out with Schoenberger, they took away my Gangplank key, and it was just like, okay, so no more Cicada, no more Gangplank, so... It was like he had a kid. The first day I went to Gangplank, I got a key for Gangplank from this guy Chris, and then later on, like I introduced
sorry, what's Gangplank?
It's like a co-working space in Arizona.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it was a place that I had went to. Like they had asked me to come down, and they gave me a key to it. It was a very random situation, but like normally this never happens. So
it was just like a temp office space or whatever that you guys were using for Cicada, and you got excommunicated.
Yeah, but I wasn't using it for Cicada. Like they said that the guys had said that they liked what I was doing, and they said, we want you to do what you do, but here. And then they gave me a key to it. But what I found out later is Chris, he fucked up. We went to a music festival, and when we were sitting and hanging out, like, he was talking about things that he shouldn't have been able to know about. Like, and he let it slip that he actually knew Thomas from before. And I was like, okay, so like, as soon as I get back to Arizona, like, I didn't even have the Gangplank key. Like, Chris made some shit up to basically like to get me excommunicated from Gangplank. But then I went to the actual like head guy or whatever, and he was just like, no, here's your key back. Fuck those guys. And I was just like, cool. And he was like, actually, here's your key, and then here's the key to all the other ones, just in case you need it. And I was like, cool. And I was like, cool, man. And he was like, oh, yeah, Chris is out. And then Chris went out. So Chris is no longer around anymore. But, like, there was some weird shit going on, like, with this whole thing. So
what do you think happened to Steinbart?
I think Steinbart got it roped. I think after he went to the VOP thing, I think he was talking with Chozo, and Chozo roped him into the Cicada stuff. And then after Chozo roped him into the Cicada stuff, that's when Steinbart did this Amphoris archive. Like, I remember when he was starting to do his research, and it was sometime... most of the stuff was collected May of 2018 to June of 2018. And I wasn't doing very much at that particular point, but that's after he did that. Like, he was trying to, like, LARP on the boards as a QAnon type figure, and then later on he started morphing his show until he was just like, I'm fucking QAnon. And it was just kind of crazy to watch him do this stuff, and then later on find out that not only did he know exactly who Thomas was and had mentioned Thomas a lot, people that were with him, multiple people that like went to that house and shit like that, had all discussed Thomas Schoenberger and Frank Bacon, like, and those were two topics that were, you know, like frequently discussed in the house, and that's where he was getting most of his information. So it's like Thomas needed a new person, and this is the new person.
So he got mind fucked. But what?
Yeah, he got mind fucked.
Yeah, what was he trying to? But what was he mind fucking him to do though? To LARP his Q?
Yeah, just to LARP his Q. He was just mind fucking this kid to LARP his Q, and I mean, they got him so wrapped up to the point. I mean,
that's immediately what I thought. As soon as I saw Steinbart, I was like, Jesus Christ, this looks like Frankenstein's monster got away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he got mind fucked, and then he just decided to get out of control.
Well, he got mind fucked, and then, dude, once certain people get mind fucked, like, what I believe Cicada is doing is that, like, certain individuals can be mind fucked and, you know, like, not really go crazy, like, they accept programming very willingly,
right.
And then after they willingly accept programming, it's just very easy, and then it takes a lot to, like, get them to sway off of their way, right? And with Steinbart, he seemed to have other issues that are amplified. So, like, I've noticed it with, like, some of the QAnon folks who were not, they, like, started into QAnon, and then they got into crazy reptilian shit,
yep.
And then they're, like, stabbing their fucking brother because
right.
they think he's some kind of, like, reptilian and shit.
Yep.
Like, that's the kind of stuff that gets, like, built up, because it's not just the QAnon theory that's pushing them into that. They're getting, it's a radicalization pathway. Like, you know, the QAnon bounds are set really fucking wide, so like a lot of things can fall into it, and then what happens is it's like a maze of rabbit holes that people will just fall into, and then each of them will get stuck at a certain point, you know, whatever triggers them the most, and then that's usually what starts their outward flow. But what I've noticed is that some of these guys, especially like Steinbart, you know, like all they really need is like, hey, we're going to get you in the movies, you're going to do this. And I mean, I see this Wanderer Film Collective people that got him out of jail, and, you know, then he just goes and starts partying it up again. It doesn't realize that he's being secretly recorded.
Yep.
And it's just like this weird shit where, like, I feel like they kind of set him up, you know.
Of course they did. Of course they did. Of course they did. Why is it that everybody who comes into contact with them goes into a mental hospital, kills themselves, like, or just has to, like, leave the internet? Like, it's not a coincidence.
Coincidence. You know who else uses quantum a lot?
Yes, Levine, I know.
Which is strange.
I know. I actually thought quantum was Levine for a little bit, for that partly for that reason, and he thinks of himself as kind of a Renaissance man, and he's coded and shit a little bit, but turns out not so much.
Is coded? I mean, I don't know. Oh, I should
just change
the layout. Goodman research. Like, most of the time, it seems like, oh, this is my favorite Stephen Biss email. Stephen Biss, June 14th, 2019 at 10:40 a.m. to the Tanya. Open mouth equal lies. To Steve Biss from the Tanya, from Parody Lives.
So he's saying that about Thomas.
Yeah, I say that about Thomas. Like, literally, Biss. At this juncture, Biss is like, Tanya, why the fuck are you talking to him still? Just leave the fucking guy alone. Whenever he opens his mouth, he lies. He's like, I'm not going to stop you from talking with these people or doing your thing because I love you, but literally... My opinion on this guy has been very, like, clear. Like, he just, like, does this constantly.
Thomas, you mean?
So, like, I keep going with this.
I don't know how the fuck he could possibly write this many emails. Because he does this shit. He just layers this shit on people, you know, and it just seems like it's got to be a full-time job, but he's doing it to so many people at the same time. It's fucking nuts. Yeah,
it is really nuts. Like, and I mean, you know, what prompted Tanya to send me all these emails was the situation that she was having with Mindy, and like, it was just like she was trying to, like, I guess, get out the facts about the situation, but to me, it was just kind of weird because she was just sending me a lot of interesting stuff because, like, she did solidify the fact that she's still, like, fucking talking to him.
Right. She's talking to Thomas still, right?
Yeah, she's still talking to Thomas. She still has, like, back and forth with all of these guys. And for a while there, she was just kind of sending me a bunch of fucking, like, screenshots. Like, a lot of these ones are just screenshots from her beat.
Right.
So, like, most... Are I don't think they're important. Like, that's why a lot of them I haven't even opened up because I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. Are she and Mindy like friends or not?
They used to be friends. Like, she bought a house for Mindy, and then Mindy came out with her 5 kids, and, you know, she was like, oh, I don't like this fucking house, so I'm leaving.
Oh.
And then it was just kind of, like, weird because then Tanya was like, well, I bought this fucking house, and now you're not going to live in it, so I'm just, like, sitting here with this stupid fucking house, like, just trying to be nice with you, buy your house. And I was just like, Tanya, did you know that you probably shouldn't buy people fucking houses?
Right. She bought her a fucking house?
Yeah, she bought her a fucking house. I was like, bitch, buy me a house. I was like, fuck these people. Hook me up with all that extra cheddar. We'll do whatever, man. Buy me a fucking house. At this point, I haven't done anything for her. She just sent me money. I'd be like, what, you just had to help her out a little bit?
Right.
Or act like you're helping her out? She buys you a fucking house? Like I didn't even believe it when she was talking about it. So
Tanya's still deep in this I am shit, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. She is 100% into it.
And so is Mindy, right?
Oh, Mindy for sure as well. Like, have you ever watched Mindy talk?
Oh yeah, no. It's funny that, like, she really, really doesn't want to own that at all publicly. Like we ate her up about that until she changed her name. Because she was I am mind inspired, right? Like
she is still I am mind inspired.
No, that was last year.
Yeah, last year. But she was I am.
Oh no, inspired. Totally. And I've seen her, like, saying all kinds of I am crazy shit in emails and stuff. It's just it's interesting. So just total side note. What about Esteban? What do you think about Esteban?
Esteban Trujillo?
Yes, that guy.
He was nice, I guess, to me for a little bit. Like, when he came to me at first, we did, like, a long-ass interview. It was, like, 3 hours long, and I kind of, like, just gave him everything, and I was just all like, just let me hear it and see it before you post it, and then he never posted it. And then he went and interviewed all of these other people, and then the entire time he was like, oh, yeah, I'm working on yours, and then never came out.
And you know why?
Yeah, because he was working with them the whole entire time.
Yeah, he's a two-sided.
And I knew that.
Okay, all right. Just checking.
I was aware. That's why I just gave him everything, because I was like, this is all stuff that you guys already have, and I was like, so go for it. I was like, go for it.
Right.
I was like, pull the big one, pull the big schlemiel,
right,
and then see what happens.
Right.
I was like, pull the big one and see what happens, because that's when that one comes out, people are just gonna shit bricks, and they're just gonna not want to believe it, and they're not gonna understand it, and then they're just gonna be like, but I don't get it, and I think that, you know, it's really insane, and I'm just going to be all like, oh, yeah, well, give me that fucking laptop. FBI, or was it Homeland Security, can I have my fucking laptop back?
Are you asking them?
Yeah, no, I mean, I always ask them, but they never, I don't know what the proper process to do in order to get that done is. And I've tried to find it, but... eventually, I'm gonna figure it out, and when I figure it out, some people are gonna hate me. I mean, I have a couple of hard drives and shit, but most of them are broken. So, like, I've been just kind of like low key searching the internet every now and again to see if I can find some donors, because I do have some drives that I could repair over here to actually get some other interesting stuff. But I have one drive that pretty much has all the Cicada crap on it. Like, when we built everything, I just pulled that one out. It's still sitting in my computer, just not plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be safe. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Like, dude, she sent me all these emails August 5th. And this has nothing to do with anything other than her and Mindy. And they're, like, complete... Literally, it's just screenshots of Mindy forever.
Yeah.
And... it was, like, kind of weird when I saw this, but it does kind of show that literally there was something there. Here we go, Cicada twin and format. This is kind of where they were trying to start building all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
Usually, much less writing a description, you must start a dialogue, and there is way too much new age crap. Oh, wait. Thomas filled me in a bit today about your discussion with Sean Stone. He said that you were thinking of approaching Cicada first as a feature rather than a television show, and that the tone would be a bit lighter. What? More like Sherlock than Mr. Robot? What the fuck? Oh, here we go. I read this once, I think. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I thought we'd check to get your thoughts directly. I'd also like to send you a script wrote for a different project that Thomas and I are developing, and is an example of the kind of tone that we were talking about, called Saint-Germain and the Bell of Power, based on Thomas's ancestor. It's a feature-length script intended to be the first theatrical franchise. Oh my god. Saint-Germain and fucking...
based on his ancestor. There we go.
Yeah, that's his ancestor. No, Thomas was very clear about that. Like, he was adamant to me. When I first met him, he was like, I'm Thomas Saint-Germain. And I was just kind of like, that's not your real last name, though, right? And he was just like, no. I was like, oh, cool. So you're just not going to tell me? All right, cool. But that's what he said his name was. And then later on, when I went to Linda's house, I could probably just... This is why Google is scary. Explore your timeline. Skip. Sorry, that timeline's empty. I don't go anywhere with that one. It was this one. Oh, look, it looks like chicken pox.
What the fuck is that?
You've never seen this before?
No.
Do you have a Gmail?
Uh-huh.
Then you have one of these. It's your Google timeline. So if you go to google.com/map/timeline, or just type in Google timeline into Google, it'll take you to this. But yeah, it'll show you everywhere you fucking been. So it's like, I know exactly where I was. Like, you want to know where I went to Dallas? Like, here's McKinney, Texas. Here's McKinney, Texas, when I met at Spoon's Cafe with fucking what's-his-face, Ken Paxton. I drove from Residence Inn Marriott that I was staying at. I stopped at Spoon's Cafe, and then I was there from 1:45 from 10 to almost 1, and then I drove 22 minutes back. And that's me in the car with Thomas Schoenberger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I have day-by-day information about my location history. I made sure to keep track of it. That's why I have it. So I know everywhere I've been, everywhere I've gone. Like, I got fucking Boston when I stopped in at Logan Airport that one time. Here's all the places I've been in New York. Not very many. But yeah, I can confirm that I was actually working. Which one is fucking Bo Needle's office? Where's one Penn Plaza? Rockefeller Center, a hotel, Times Square.
Yep.
Oh, wow. And my pictures. Me in Trump Hotel eating the taco bowl.
Huh.
That was awesome. That was a good day. You know why it was a good day?
Why?
Because I always wanted to go eat that taco bowl at Trump Tower, and I finally fucking made it. And it was a shitty fucking taco bowl.
Of course it was.
Just like I fucking know it was. But you know what? At least I fucking did it.
You did do it. That's awesome.
I did it, motherfucker. Oh yeah, I got Frank Bacon's house over here.
Good times.
You can see all the different places. He lived in Santa Fe right here. So, like, you could kind of see how I went through. Like, I went up here, and then I detoured to go see him, and then came back through here, and then hit a bunch of places through here. Went to Roswell. So you could kind of see how I drove all the way through, and then I drove all the way back. Yep. And then I spent all kinds of time going up north as well, you know? Like, the only times that I spent a lot was right here in Eugene. And then I did a little trip that was going out there. But, you know, like, this is something that a lot of people don't realize that you could do. Like, even when I was in Salt Lake that one time to go to that conference that I went to for the asteroid hitting the planet, that was a good time. Well, I can prove that I was there in Midway.
So do you have to, like, check in actively?
At the Zermatt. No.
It just does this? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that.
On your phone, it just tracks your every movement.
I'll have to do that right after this. No, I did not.
Wow.
I mean, I knew that I knew they had the data. I didn't know it was quite so easy to visualize.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect. This is why I do this on my live stream. And I'm like, yeah, so I can prove the day that I was there. That's how I showed the lawyers that Thomas lied in his deposition, because I was like, yeah, well, maybe he just didn't remember it correctly, but this was the day. And, you know, I don't know why you're interviewing that piece of shit. Because, right. Oh, yeah, look, oh, wait, what the hell is out here? Now I'm just like, oh, the Philly International Airport. It's like, what the fuck was I doing in Philly Airport?
Hey, do you know? Have you heard of Gary Milievsky?
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
That was somebody that they were saying was, or James Anon was saying that was actually a QAnon person at this point, or at one point. I guess I could have just put Google photo. I should have just said, oh, it is photos.google. Let's see if anything comes up. Gary? Reputation? Potential clients? Gary Goff? Oh, no, this is potential people. Maybe if I look at Jim. Oh, there you go. There's a bunch of them. I don't know if I actually captured him saying it, but Janon, this character right here.
Yep.
He was saying that Gary Malfisky was actually involved with the shit at some point in time. And I never even knew who the fuck that guy was, so I was like, I guess. But it was information that Janon, like, I know Janon had a lot of ins with Thomas.
So who does Janon think was the first Q? He thought it was Microchip and JB?
Yeah, he said it was Microchip and JB, and then it moved. And then here's him talking I the Spy.
Uh-huh.
But I the Spy was Tyler. Tyler got his Facebook deleted, by the way.
No. Tyler was never he was Real I the Spy.
Yeah, he's always Real I the Spy. But
yeah, Real I the Spy is a different character from I the Spy.
And then Thomas and them were trying to LARP that this E person, Follow the 17, was I the Spy. And then, yeah, like, you could...
Well, it was. It's just, like, yeah, it was I the Spy, then Follow the 17, then fucking either friend and either friendly.
There's the stat right there.
Uh-huh.
This is from a while back too.
Yeah.
When he was still playing. Oh, this is when he was fighting with Janon about Thomas being able to play piano, and I was like, well, I actually watched Thomas play piano a couple of times.
Right.
I don't think that there should be an argument that he could play piano. But I guess Thomas didn't play for Lestat, so that really pissed him off like a lot.
Yeah.
Pissed him off big time. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the fucking picture of Michael wearing the goddamn Cicada shirt. I should have made sure I had that one. Yeah, see.
Because, I mean, is Janon in a position to know that shit?
I wouldn't say that he was. You could tell as soon as I stopped actually using my Android phone when I realized that I was like, Google knows everything.
Right.
You know, I made sure that I had pictures of Thomas, and I've been kind of like paying attention to a lot of the different things and the different people that Thomas has been out, because it was just easy to do screenshots all the time.
Right.
But you could see, you know, Thomas, Mind Inspired, those guys.
Totally.
Even when Will Summer was doing his shit, like, oh my god.
That
like,
fucking guy, man. Did you see any of that today?
No, dude, I haven't. Dude, I was all day. My ass deep in Minolta printers.
Gotcha.
I had to take apart an entire printer and put it back together.
Yeah, I got into it with Will.
You got into it with Will? Really? Wait, you're getting into it with all the Pharisees. I thought we were supposed to be making friends.
Oh, no, fuck them. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. Because fuck those guys. Because I hate those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if we're live streamed right now. Fuck them. Like,
I'm not living, dude.
Brother,
streaming. I can't live stream right
brother,
now.
I'm kidding. I was kidding.
Do you see Here, do you want me to I'll throw us on a live stream.
No, please don't.
Project Properness right now.
No, please don't.
See, look, it's that easy. Just be like, hit that button.
No,
right
please don't. Please don't.
Well, I can't hit that button though because it would go to this channel that doesn't work. So, well, it won't work until Friday unless YouTube takes it away the strike and then just decides to give me another strike, even though I deleted like every fucking thing just to be safe.
Right.
And still, I'm like, you know, these guys don't get it, but, you know, all I do is fix electronics most of the time.
Yeah.
And, like, that's how I was making money. But I had been paying a lot of attention to a lot of the different people involved here. Let's see.
What do you think the deal is with, like, because Will is, like, running ops on me with fucking Fred and stuff. Like, it's crazy.
He's running ops?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Summer's running ops on you?
Well, Fred posts some slanderous shit, and then the fucking, Fred was like, I'm giving you 72 hours to prove that you have what you say you have. Like, and then fucking Summer jumps in with, you know, like, oh, yes, like, just comical fucking, like, just... talking shit, and I'm like, dude, do you know who this is? And do you know that I have never said a fucking word about you in my life? What are you doing? It's just weird, man.
That's weird. I mean,
yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but I blocked him.
It does matter actually, because if Will is coming after you, it's because Will has he's gotten some of the things that you got. He doesn't have everything, because I only sent him the stuff that he asked for, and I talked to him on the phone, and he was just like, yeah, you're full of shit.
Will's not interested in the truth. He's not.
Well, I know that. I was aware of that.
No, I know. But
it's like this relationship he's got with Rothschild.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, I got into... Wait, I got into it with Rothschild. That's right, not Summer. Wait.
You trying to get somebody fired from their job?
No, I've gotten into it with both of these fuckers, actually. I'm
the feminist dapper propaganda, dude. You got the whole entire group on you, mother sucker. See, this bitch right here, I always follow this bitch. You want to know why I always follow this bitch? Because all of the people that I know, like this person right here, and let's see, Poker and Politics, like they have their own little group with Travis View, which some other journalists, I think, I'll just show you this shit.
Yeah, just so you know, Montesquieu's cool.
Montesquieu?
Yeah, Hagrid Celine, that dude. He's a good
Which
guy.
guy?
Scroll up.
This guy?
No. That guy, I mean, he's fine, but you scroll up. You pointed to him before. That guy, he's good.
This guy? He's cool?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Sketchball.
I understand.
He's always been sketchy as fuck to me because he's been on this shit since day one.
I know, and he kind of is on both sides, but he's been really helpful, really helpful though.
You know Jessica Davies?
No, who's that?
Business Insider.
Reporter. Oh yeah, I know her. Yeah.
She's been like she's been like DMing me and saying a bunch of shit. Although she's been talking about like a bunch of other people involved with this stuff that don't seem to be, like weren't connected to the original one. Yeah. I don't know though. Like her reporter skills are like leaving a much to be desired. So just to give you some perspective, like, my pictures and stuff used to be like me at music festivals. This is when I started, doing the Cicada stuff.
Yeah.
When we were hanging out at our old restaurant. Oh yeah, this is when we used to haze people. Whenever it was their birthday, we would make them drink a Smirnoff Ice. I don't think they make them do that anymore though, because they're a big company now, and that's like hazing rituals. I never did it myself, but like this is how everything got ramped up. But my hotel room ride. Have you ever seen that before?
No.
This was in the hotel that I stayed at.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this was the best hotel I ever stayed at, man. So
is that a toilet paper roll?
That is a toilet paper roll holding up the thing that
Perfect.
Keeps the thing up. It's fucking great, dude. Best fucking hotel I ever stayed at. And like that's my old car right there. You see that shit?
Uh-huh.
See how the things popped up right there?
Yeah.
Like this is the car. So you can see where I was trying to drive. I was trying to drive my car up there, but I only made it to like right here, and then I had to I had to back down, and then I had to go here and then back up this way. So like, yeah, I almost died, but it was a great time. So like most of the time, I did not do anything. Like this is what we felt about the spear. Here's C-bong,
right?
C-spear. So like it was not like I was not being the type of person that was all buying into this shit. I just was like, this is the fucking crazy adventure we're on. My niece.
Totally, yeah.
Like this is the crazy adventure we're on. Okay, so like here's the first time I met Michael Levine.
ARGs are fun, man. They're fucking fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, what I was doing there was fun, but it did not end up being fun.
No, brother, I know. That's the whole problem. They take things that are good and fun or well-meaning and like infiltrate and weaponize them. That's what they do to everything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, all I was doing was taking pictures of weed.
Damn, that looks good, man. Damn.
Yeah, I have nothing but... dude, if you ever want great weed, I have great weed. I make a weed. It's actually... There's a Defango weed out there.
Oh, nice.
Very popular.
Sweet.
Very popular. And it's stuff that, like, I actually grew and, have people out there, like, it's not something, we've done confections, all the good stuff. Like, I've even made, like this, although it's not good to make these anymore because... Now you have to be, like, legitimate, but I used to blast, like, my own CO2 because, like, I would take this and then I would sell the refuse off of the blasting and you can make double the profit. So it's like there's a lot of shit going on. And for the most part, like, when I started into this stuff, like, I was just kind of, like, enjoying the ride.
Right.
There wasn't really anything that people needed to worry about. I was just having fucking fun, bro.
Uh-huh.
And it was really interesting because, like, I have all of the pics and stuff that show that I was, like, going around and doing all of this shit. Most of the time, people don't know, but, here's me literally right in front of fucking Bo Dietl. when I was doing this. I wish you could hear that, but he's like, don't be fucking emotional. Don't be a fucking stiff. Like, I was talking shit to him, like, Dad, you know, like, and I'm like on my phone off to the side doing a video with it. And when we did the commercials, we ended up using the stuff. Like, I did most of the shit off on my phone, and literally it was like going out, and their commercials still look better than some of the other ones. It's just that he was never gonna fucking win. Right. He's never gonna fucking win. Like, it was just basically gonna be one of those things where most people didn't realize, like, you know, do I have memes and shit? No. And then right after I finished with Bo Deedle, you know, like, he told me, hey, you know what you really need to look out for? And he was like, this is what you need to look out for. And that was the next thing that I went out to, is I started looking into the fascism or the anti-fascism at their bookstores and like their ideology and stuff. So like, this is right after Q started right here. I was in Berkeley, like actually doing it. Before that, I was actually there, you know, like I made sure that I actually kept shit together. And then, you know, like I wanted to make sure that people were aware of what, you know, my targeting system was actually on for, because like, I was like, holy shit, you know, they're literally like New Times, the Eugene Weekly. This is a magazine where my office used to be. The New Times was right above it. Uh-huh. And now, like, the Fireside office is not it's not below the New Times. Now they're on the same, like, level as New Times, but it's still not, like, owning the whole entire building. But I guarantee Fireside will be kicking New Times out, you know? Like, this is when I was in LA hanging out with a couple of people. This guy right here is actually an interesting character. His name is Ahmad. He makes sneakers. He designs sneakers for, like, influential people like Kanye, Adidas. He's done Nikes, Balenciagas. It's like a bunch of different shoes. He's just a guy, one of the homies out there, but like, right. There's a few different people that I've met, you know, like in Hollywood. Like this guy was in Westworld, although he was just like one of the robot guys that got killed or whatever. But I followed along, and then, you know, when they started this right here, yeah, I followed along on that shit too. And I believe that this was Lisa that was actually running this whole White Rabbit thing. It was. And she was doing it very well, you know. She made all of this different stuff. I saved all of it, made sure I had it there. A lot of people told me that, oh, no, I was part of it. Like, I don't know if these shoes have came out yet. Actually, no, that one did come out. It was these ones, though. I was all like, who the fuck would pay $600 fucking for some fucking sneakers that were dirty?
Right, exactly.
Dirty sneakers from Gucci? Fuck you. Get out of here. I hate people. I hate everyone. So, like, as far as, like, everything goes, like, this is all just kind of funny because, like, you could just kind of, like, when I'm scrolling through me going to music festivals and just having fun with my friends, like, you know, oh, this is a great picture right here because this person's been arrested rioting, this person's been arrested rioting, this person's been arrested rioting, and this person's been arrested rioting. And now they're all facing federal charges because of this. Actually, a lot of the people in this group are from the medical camps. So, like, I was working with the medical folks to get free tickets, and most of those people now are facing federal charges because they were in the streets, like, fuck Trump or whatever. I'm not even exactly sure why they were doing that. I was just like, yo, if riots and shit come down, just do me the solid and stay the fuck home so that you guys don't have fucking federal charges coming forward in later. Right. And, you know, they didn't listen. So let's see. When did I leave? Here. So when I was in Texas, like, I made sure to keep stuff together on Texas, but I was also, like, keeping track of some of the other people that had come out with. And there was another puzzle that was actually more apocalyptic that was trying to pretend to be Cicada, and it was calling itself the Red Triangle. And a lot of people were saying it wasn't connected to this, but, like, they were making memes of me and shit. And I later on found out that, like, Thomas was using a bunch of this shit. So, like, they basically, like, created, like, a hate Discord associated with this whole thing, where they had, like, random Defango memes and shit. And you know, they were using the red triangle like person of interest.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, you know, I didn't ever watch this show actually. So when I actually watched this show, I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Because there's like an episode, I think it's called Nautilus. Yeah. Nautilus. So yeah, and person of interest, you know, they were targeting people with an AI computer. But in this particular sense, it's like the way that I went through the Cicada puzzle is basically kind of like what we're seeing here in their Nautilus thing, which for some reason has a small connection over to Mr. Levine.
Right, of course.
Because he did fucking music for it.
Yep.
So when they put it in there, it had some kind of connection to it. So like, there's a good chance that these guys were involved in the beginning, but the thing is they don't have anything that can prove it because they're fucking stupid. And they never saved any of that stuff. Like, they figured that nobody would fuck them and leave, and they would be okay.
Right.
So I've always kind of just tried to stay the fuck away from them. But, you know, like, going back through some of this stuff is just showing, you know, like, I was aware of what was going on and kind of just like, wow, you know, like, fucking Frank Bacon.
Right.
That's what Frank looks like right there. I mean, he's still pretty out there. Here's me going to Bon Jovi on Ed Batowski's dime in his suite 1185 or 58 $0, and it's cool. I took my friend, you know.
Nice.
We took my friend, and you know, we just went and watched Bon Jovi for free. It was tight, and then I dipped out. So like, here's me like getting up. This is like right when I was getting ready to dip, and this was me getting gas when I dipped. See the 1111?
Nice. Yeah.
Sorry, I am so into that 1111 shit. Like, I got the emails. I'm not lying. I mean, I have to show you.
I believe you.
You know, like, I don't know, you know, like, I started getting, I got into that shit a long time ago. And, like, you know, for a lot of this stuff, it's like.
Why is I am already here? Is I am mixed up with it?
Yeah, it's an I am thing. This is something that when I originally started looking into the I am shit, this was one of the first things that I came through. And it was the 1111 Progress Group.
Oh, boy. What the fuck?
Yeah, this was. I still get the emails to this day because I've never unsubscribed or whatever. And I look at them every now and then, but it's like millions of folks around the world are seeing these 1111 prompts. And, you know, it's a wake-up call.
Dude, I got...
blah, blah.
That somebody pulled that shit on me in high school. 1111.
Yeah.
Like... I
did that shit in high school to people all the time.
Yeah, they 1111'd me, and, you know... It fucked me up. The Baader Meinhof is strong, man. That shit works.
Yeah, it does work. I just use it to my advantage. So, like, every day at that specific junctures of time, 11, 11, 12, 1, 1, 1, all those particular times. I used to have alarms set for all of them. And then I would have the alarm go up, and then I would pause my alarm, and then I would just stop, and then, like, set myself. That's all.
Like a little sort of meditation, almost ritual sort of thing.
Yeah, but now I don't really do it at all the different time variables. I just stick to 11 a.m. and p.m. And that's usually like if I'm not awake by this time, I should be awake by this time. If I'm not asleep by this time, I should be asleep by this time. So that's what I use it for. Mm-hmm. But I've been around, you know, and this was all back in the day when I started getting into, there was a website that I think was like Apocalypse Now or apocalypse.org or some shit like that. Uh-huh. But I used to be very prolific on all of those boards, like on these boards. Like I was very prolific on a lot of these message boards.
Prolific in what way? As like a straight participant?
Yeah, like a participant, talking about it, you know, like interacting with them, because I was trying to understand the ideology, because once I started reading, like, these fucking emails or whatever, like, I was just like, what the fuck is going on, you know?
Right.
It was, like, talking about God, but then it was talking about the Aratna book, and that's where this stuff leads to. So, like, have you heard of that? Yeah, Arantia, this is it. So a lot of the big QAnon people, which I haven't seen anybody, including Lestat, ever poke out to it, but there's this book that came out their Ratna papers, the fifth apocryphal revelation, sometime in 1924 to 1955. So it's along the same veins as like Operation Mindfuck or the Theosophical Society or the I Am Presence. So like when the I Am Presence came out, this also originated around the same time. And in my understanding, this is what they seeded before they started the I Am Presence to kind of like get it out, because it's an anonymous author. But there's a few guys like William Sadler and his wife Lena Sadler who were from Chicago that had gotten into this, and it was psychoanalysis, hypnotism, but it developed into this particular set of texts that kind of explains the universe, but it's an expansion upon what the Bible's teaching were. So like it's cultic for sure, but their teachings are saying, so basically you're Catholic or Christian or you're one of the other people, when you're a member of the 1111 cult, the way that you supersede or perceive yourself is that you've graduated from your Bible study and now you're ready to learn more about what's actually going on in the physical universe. So you learn about the central and super universes, your local universe that's called Nebadon, the history of Arantia, which is actually the history of Earth, because Earth is actually called Arantia. That's what these believe. And this goes through the life and teachings of Jesus. So it basically goes through everything in the Bible, and then it adds a lot of context to some of the different situations that happen. And what it's saying is that there's like an all-creator that's like the I Am Presence, which is existent in every single person, and every single person that's part of the I Am Presence eventually will make a decision to then they'll start being prompted by this number, and eventually once they start getting prompted by this number, you'll start receiving these messages, and then these messages are supposed to help you dictate how you're going through life, and it gives you like an explanatoration thing, but it's definitely it's an indoctrination thing.
Sure.
For sure, they start you off one spot, and then you kind of like move over and over and over. I mean, it's not as big as you would think about. It's not as big as a lot of these other ones that are out there, but there's a lot of people that actually read it.
Interesting.
Or into it, and it falls into this category. So like Jordan Sather, in a lot of his original videos, he had this book just like bam right there on his bookshelf.
Oh wow.
And I would pull it up and I'd be like, yo, you know how I know exactly what Jordan Sather's about? Because I've already researched it and studied it. And to me, if I had to believe in any kind of like crazy religion, and I had to be the one, and if I had to choose again, because technically if you're Catholic, you can't become un-Catholic, apparently. So, like, I'm Catholic for life, or whatever, even if I don't agree or disagree with it. I just follow the shit anyway, just to be safe.
Right.
And, but if I had to choose again, like, if I, had to relive my life, I think that this would be more interesting.
Well, it's interesting, because there do seem to be, like, theosophical people that aren't fucking insane Nazi like accelerationists, right? Mm-hmm. But there do seem to be a fuck ton of sociopathic Nazi accelerationists who are theosophists. So
yes.
There's something about this strain of belief that generates really bad fucking ideas. Even if the core philosophy, like there's a guy. Do you know a guy named Harry? Works with Nathan Stoltman.
Harry, no.
He's just one of his researchers. Whatever, dude's like, he's interesting. He's trying to convince me that theosophy is okay, but it just happens to be that every single one of the theologies that's come out of it has been like fucking Nazi.
Nazis?
Well, you know what I mean. Like they all have fascist fucking stuff going on. There's a few that are
a fucking Nazi.
What's that?
No, that's what I've been trying to say for like years. I mean, everything that he does, everything that he says, he's a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
And I've been telling people that, like, he's a secret Hitler or whatever. That's who he is. He's
100%. No, he wants He's a sadist, first of all. He's a sociopath. And he's an apocalyptic ideologue. That is not a good combination.
This is the picture. This is what I was looking for. So the Saint-Germain thing comes back down to this photograph.
Yeah.
It's an oil painting that he prizes, and he says that this is an oil painting of his ancestor, Saint-Germain, the actual real photograph of Saint-Germain, not a fake one. But this was one of his pride and joys. So this was the mindfuck out here. So you see this oak tree?
Yeah.
This is Linda's backyard, and this is the oak tree that was in Liber Primus.
Linda Barrett?
Yep, Linda Barrett's house. And you can see that if this wasn't broken down,
yeah,
it's the fucking tree.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's literally sitting on his back porch. So, this is one of the times, this is me in Paso Robles in 2018 when I went to visit Linda when Thomas was no longer there.
Right.
And, I actually made sure to go through and take video of it and shit. But then here's Thomas with the Mondavis. Robert Mondavi, the wine people.
Uh-huh.
And this is when he was trying to grift himself into a delivery wine business, and he was actually there trying to get money out of them. So, his confidence game has hit some of the largest people out there to the point where I think that's him and Cooper Clark, and that's him holding a painting of Mozart as a child.
Yep.
And this is one of Thomas's, prized possessions, photographs that he had, and this is only very small bits of information that can prove that he knew this person, knew that person, but the photographs are him so long ago.
Totally.
When he was so much younger. He doesn't even look halfway like that. And then these are the artifacts that he proclaims that are worth $30,000 that are mostly, this one looks fake. This one actually might be some real vessel, but it's so corroded and degraded.
Right.
But yeah, this was everything that he had. And then his Otto Haas catalog right here, this is probably the most expensive thing in the case right here, that little book, because it's an original pressing. And then he's got his little baby music and shit in here. And this is when he was out of Linda. She wouldn't let him come back, but he was basically I just went over there to talk to her. And then she gave me a gift, which was this really tiny Bible.
Mm.
And I like it, but I don't have it anymore. So I just wonder, about what's happening, because right after that, I was completely disconnected with those guys, and I just kind of went along my thing. Mm-hmm. And then I had a little bit of issues with my van on the side of the road. Same van I'm still driving around now, but more or less it was my fault. But yeah, I started following him along on all of his different stuff. He at one point claimed to have cracked the 340 cipher by the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, I heard that.
So there's a lot of interesting shit that had happened, but when I started season 3,
mm-hmm.
Operation Backyard Brawl hoax, I was going in so hard on everybody because I had season 2. I never had a season 1, but it was a joke.
Uh-huh.
Because I was just this is so stupid, so I'm just going to say it's this.
Right.
What the hell is this? A UFO?
Oh, shit.
Whatever. And this is when it got really apocalyptic, is when they started posting this thing.
Oh, fuck.
Which is the Dante's Hells, I think.
Yeah.
The layers of hell. So, he didn't get they weren't very busy, I was keeping an eye on all of their different people.
Mm-hmm.
Regan Trump, or another one, her name's Regan Early. And he had a whole group of people that were, starting to target me. So, at this point, I wasn't even fucking with them at all. I was just kind of seeing it. Have you heard of 0 Hour?
Oh, yeah.
He was big So this is right when all of those guys started doing their shit.
Was Zero like? I mean, was he pretty deep in it, like in the beginning?
Yeah, he was very deep in it in the beginning, I believe.
Like core group, right?
Yeah, core group.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like, and then they were going around doxing my phone number and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were doing the time phone hack thing, which is, like, they've been doing it for years, but basically, like, they doxed my phone number, and then they were just basically, like, calling it constantly all over the place. And it was, like, a large group of different individuals, and this is when it all started going down with, you know, like, Thomas, oh, there's the 1111 again. Yeah. I saw the 1111 thing, and then right after that, I had a meeting with this guy, and the meeting went bad. Except for there's this girl back here that was giving me the piece or whatever. Uh-huh. Because she was telling me that I needed to piece out on this dude. And I was glad I did. Because he ended up being a super sketchball.
Yeah, I would never guess.
Criminal.
I would never guess that guy would be sketchy.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, he wanted me to help him build a cryptocurrency. And I was just like, huh. And I let him come over and shit still.
Oh, God.
Like, I took him to DEFCON with me, actually, because he wanted to learn about crypto, and he wanted to get people on his crypto thing. So this is right before we went to DEFCON, and then that's me getting into DEFCON. And then we were supposed to be going to an EOS conference, but that's me getting the human badge and shit. But, yeah, I made sure to keep pretty good, like, understandings of what I was up to and who I was hanging out with. Uh-huh. That was probably this is probably one of the better things that we did out there, where I was like I walked up on some guy and he was like typing out one of the best copy pastas, where it's like Navy SEALs. Uh-huh. What the fuck did you say to me, you fucking little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated at the top of the class of Navy SEALs. So he printed it out on that. Although the guy typed it in, and then I had to show him how to print it because nobody knew how to print it, but I just happened to know how to print off of this thing.
That's funny.
Because I've had to go fix one of those things one time.
You had to fix one of those things?
Dude, I fix old ass electronics. I can fix old electronics way easier than I can fix new electronics. But this thing, you know, I can fix the tube. If it's at a capacitor, I can change the capacitor. But, you know, like, that's like fucking before my time technology that I just learned. And here is the funnest thing, you know. So it's like when we were at DEFCON, before DEFCON and all of this stuff was going down, this is when Lestat and all of them were getting into their crazy tizzy. And I was just kind of like away from them. I didn't even care. And it was... when this came out, when I first started seeing some stuff, it was a small orange. Somebody had like cracked an ARN, and it was basically showing a bunch of different websites that were related to like QAnon, where it was like QAnon hosting, QAnon Intel, QIntel, bunch of different shit. And I went through and searched every single one of these things, like QAnonproof.com. And later on, I think this is actually Farmer Funk's listing of all of his domains himself.
Yeah.
Because I bought one of them, actually. I bought, which one did I buy? I think it was Reputation Hijacking. Reputation. I think I spelled that wrong. Yeah, I did. I don't know if I still have it up. But I bought it because, like, I thought it would be hilarious. Yeah, I still have it. And if you look at the thing, it's got my Google tag script right here. And then I just have it saying Polybius right now. But I was actually going to run a pub. I used to say, like, it said Hi Lestat for, like, a really long time because I bought it. And then after that, he was, like, running around telling everybody, see, DeFango owns all of these websites and shit. And then, this is one of the things that he made right here. QAnon scam, Unity4J, QAnon, The Great Awakening, Backyard Brawl, because he was trying to say that I was scamming everybody involved with all this stuff. Well, he was trying to say like the greater group was doing it. Mm-hmm. And it says, one company created, controlling, making all the money on the internet, movements, the impulse, fake, movement hijacking, the reputation, Cicada 3301 had nothing to do with the current Q movement. Q hijacked the 2017 puzzle theme and then infiltrated the group. Defango is related. This group is of IPs via the reputation hijacking.com. This LARPer's only job was to mix Q with Cicada as much as possible. So, like, this is how far back he's gone to really just kind of, like, throw disinformation into the wind because, like, you know, I could just go to my panel and, you know, like, log in, and I could show you that I don't even host on a small orange. I host on a completely different one, and most of these ones don't even have any connections. Like, I have defango.com, Defango Exposed.
No, I look, I don't think you're part of
I did have this one right here, though. Magasway. I never sold anything on it, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the reputation hijacking one right there.
Yep.
And then there's my Safer Arizona website for legalizing pot in Arizona.
I approve.
So, you know, like, fuck Lestat if he thinks that... Or fuck those guys if they think they're gonna lie about shit. But this is kind of stuff that we had, like, has to be out there. Because, like, this is stuff
What stuff?
This is kind of stuff that he never really talked about. And he was mad at QAnon. You can keep QAnon, but you don't want to mix Cicada. Don't mix in Cicada. Like, he was really trying hard not to mix Cicada with Q. But what he didn't understand is that it was kind of all there. So, like, he's gone both ways. And this is prior to all of the microchip shit that went out. So, like, maybe he got psyoped or whatever. But, you know, like, at that point I was like, I don't know, maybe Fat Boy's in jail? You know, like, it's just kind of ridiculous. And I actually did send him a lot of different stuff. Oh, you see this right here?
Uh-huh.
QAnongear.com, Veterans on Patrol, QAnon Truth, WikiLeaks.org.
Uh-huh.
How did all of those get together?
That's a good question.
Did you ever notice that? QAnon Truth, Veterans on Patrol, QAnon Gear, WikiLeaks, WikiLeaks Shop, WikiLeaks.shop.
Did you do a reverse on something?
Mm-hmm.
On what?
We did a reverse on QAnon Gear, and it brought up open of these.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit. Do you follow Red Rum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's some crazy shit, man. That guy figures out. There's, like, a lot of this stuff is sitting on, like, next to each other.
So, when I was at DEFCON 2, oh, here we go. I threw a Cicada party in 2018. You see Keith Myers?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I ran into a couple of different people at that little party right there.
Yeah.
And that's how I got awareness of this information, because I know exactly who owns those shits and who did the scam. Because, I mean, for a while there, they were saying that somebody had edited the WikiLeaks website to change where the shirts were going.
Mm-hmm.
And I met the guy that runs WikiLeaks' fucking DNS for their website and updates the website. And I threw a party with him. Mm-hmm. Actually, technically, they threw me the party, but okay. I was the guest of honor.
All right.
But that was the DJ that was playing at the thing. And later on, you know, we were hanging out. So, like, I have pictures of the back of their heads in some of these ones. But, you know, there was a lot of stuff that was actually going on in 2018 where we weren't even messing around with Q. I was actually going in with the WikiLeaks stuff. And then I was taking pictures of certain things that I was doing. Like, actually, this is right when... So I was, like, working in the packet hacking village here. And then I actually got approached by somebody from the CIA / what the fuck is that company? Lockheed Martin? Earlier, a month and a half before this, I was looking at one of the WikiLeaks drops, and I theorized a way to hack a missile based on one of the things that I was looking at, and apparently somebody tried it and it actually worked, so they wanted to hire me to hack missiles. But I didn't. I was like, I smoke weed and I can't get the security clearance.
Yeah.
So they told me that I should start my own business, and then I'll probably have a lot of work in the future. And it took me a long time to actually start my own business. So now I'm running my own business, and I get jobs. Most of the time I go to McDonald's, like fix something. Sometimes I'm going to a building and saying that I'm working with this company, and I have to go grab this piece of equipment, take it off of the rack, put it in a box, mail it out to this other place. Or sometimes I'm like going to a business and then I'm like removing something that looks like it was plugged into a server somewhere, and then putting that in a mailing box and then shipping it off. So it's like it's like sketchy, but not exactly the sketchiest thing that I've ever done. But most of the time it just seems like what I'm doing is just like basic IT work, and then every now and then I get like strange jobs. Like one of them, for example, is for a company overseas that was hired through another company but I research everybody, and I'm like, oh, well, this is like an insert company. So obviously this is some sort of sketchy work. And I have a big thing for Zoltar too. So if you ever see one of those machines, like every time I see one of these things, regardless, I always do it.
Fair enough. Why wouldn't you?
Because why not?
Exactly.
Why not? Wow, Lestat was really on my case back in the day too.
Yeah. A lot of people are on a lot of people's cases, man.
So after I figured this shit out with the WikiLeaks thing,
Which thing?
By this time, so after I figured out and met the guys on the WikiLeaks thing, so figured out actually how this happened, where technically Lestat was saying is a fake link, and it wasn't a fake link. He put the Spreadshirt link on there first, and then they updated it later on so that it was just actually on the page. He just didn't figure out how to do it at that particular juncture at that particular time. And it was funny because it was on the main website, but they said that Lestat was running around saying it was hijacked and shit. And no, it wasn't hijacked whatsoever. Like, we asked them to update the fucking link, and they used the Spreadshirt link. And then later on, we redirected the link to what it was supposed to be. And a lot of people didn't really realize it or whatever, but, like Thomas had been saying that he knew, fucking Julian Assange in his emails, right?
Right.
And the guy that I had met knows fucking Thomas, so I'm pretty sure that the dude that I met was actually was actually his intermediary, so, like, Thomas's big fucking story that he knew Julian Assange is probably not completely out of touch. It's just that he was getting information secondhand from somebody else and just updating
from Trevor.
And just acting. Yeah, well, he was either getting it from Trevor and the other guy. Okay, so I know Trevor, and I know the fucking guy that actually hosts his WikiLeaks' fucking website. And both of those guys, like, one of them was not into QAnon at all. Trevor, he says he's not into QAnon, but he's still up to something because he doesn't contact me unless either I'm about to get sued or, something he's trying to psyop me on something. And have you ever seen these sick-ass alien artifacts that I found?
No, those are cool.
Yeah, they're from Mexico.
Really
they
cool.
depict aliens and shit.
Wow.
Like, this is...
Damn.
This is, like,
so you
pretty interesting
you literally
stuff.
You found that stuff?
So, yeah, when I was in Mexico, I had a friend that actually was telling me about doing this stuff. So what they had been doing is, like, going out to these places and actually finding this shit. And then I went out with them when I was, like, 16, was actually pulling all this stuff together. And I had them actually pull this shit over for me. And this ring right here is probably one of the weirdest things that I've seen because it's just, like, it's stone, but it's got, like, pretty fine markings on it and shit, but a lot of the stuff is really old, like very, very old, and I'm not exactly sure, like where it all came from or what the whole deal was with it, but it was very strange to me that, it was there. And
pretty cool.
Like I was big fan of Julian Assange. I still am a big fan of Julian Assange. Here's a replica one that somebody tried to make of it, but this is probably the coolest thing that I found, though.
Oh, shit. Nice.
It's literally a fucking pipe.
That's awesome, man. Fuck yeah. Did you use it?
Yeah, I smoked weed out of it. It's actually, what's it called? We use it for DMT. So it's like technically a DMT pipe, but, like after I smoked DMT, like the first time, like that, I feel like, helped protect me or get me through this time because it really did, like, alter my brain chemistry in such a way so that I was at least a little more prescient and aware of what was actually going on. Oh, this is the one time I fucking saw an accident. Right in front of me. Like, I literally should have been dead, but the car barely missed me. And I was walking, and that's why I don't walk anymore. That's why I don't walk. Oh, and it happens a lot, too. The 11-11 thing.
Yeah.
And I don't even try. It just does it on its own. So, like, there's a lot that it was coming forward, like, in January of 2019, like, everything kind of had a swap switch. Oh, shit.
What does that mean?
Like, there was a switch. It was like everything kind of switched over. So, like, I don't know what the hell was going on with all of these guys, but they were oh, there's the email. Posted apology for RDS, Manny. But I had started noticing that they had started changing their tactics, and then that's when what's his face, Doug started coming in, and now Doug's a complete hater. He's just like, oh, DeFango's full of shit, he's a piece of shit. And in the beginning, he was kind of like, oh yeah, I know, you're the only like truth teller in this whole entire situation. And then he completely flipped the script on all of this stuff, as far as I could tell. And I mean, even Steve Outram, Steve Outram was one of the main guys that was talking about Lestat being a pedophile. And it was with Stat, Emperor Truth, all those guys. I mean, it was some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah. I already got a thread from Outram. It was pretty funny.
Oh, really? Oh, you've gotten into it with Outram? Have you gotten into it with Elmi Fuentes yet either?
Uh-huh. Yeah, we've talked.
Are you guys cool or not cool?
Cool.
She's a weird one.
I'm cool with her.
Okay, good. Yeah, she's a weird one.
Are you not cool with her?
I wasn't saying that I wasn't cool with her. I would just said that she was definitely a hater of mine for a while. Oh, she got one of my Twitter accounts suspended.
Oh, well, I mean, she's relatively tight with Stott, so.
Yeah, I know.
But I have told everybody I do not play that stuff. Like the interpersonal stuff, like people have to sort out. Like when we're talking about these motherfuckers, wait, go back, because those are the people that we need to be talking about. Thomas and fucking Lisa, and like how do we nail these fucking sick people to the wall? That's what I want to know.
Nailing the 6 people to the wall is a good thing. Like this is when Lestat started actually coming out pretty good.
Yeah. Did I see you guys? Did I see you guys actually sort of almost like say something nice to each other for a minute?
No.
In Discord.
I don't have him in my Discord.
No, in your Discord there was like a screenshot of a YouTube comment.
No. I screenshotted his YouTube comment and I just put it out there because I'm just like, he's just really, really trying super hard right now.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, whatever. Okay.
He's trying hard. Oh wow! So like, I was definitely saving a lot of the stuff that he was doing. Oh, gentle baby. I always get deers. And Frank Bacon's. So, like, after, I think it's, like, early March of 2019, this is when everything kind of, like, really started shitting the brick because all these folks were going crazy, and then that's when Camelo popped up, and that's when I was like, oh, shit.
Who's that?
Anthony Camelo, the fucking guy that murdered the mob boss.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
His fucking hand.
Yeah.
That psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy?
Yeah.
I remember that guy. I won't forget that guy. Because that's when I was just like, oh, this is a fucking problem. And, this is one of the things that people were looking into, and like how they were actually going against hacktivists. So like targeting, how they were like actually identifying people and putting them together. And this is like stuff that Thomas and them were like actually using against people.
Right.
So it's real military actual psyop shit that they were using. And I mean, even Q himself pretty much does the same thing, you know, like they use all these same tactics, like
absolutely. They they have, you know, a whole shitload of psyop experts. Like,
yep.
Yeah, they all really fucking good at it. Lisa's really good at it. Fucking Thomas, as far as I can tell, I think Frank Bacon seems to be good at it. I think
he's really good.
I think Esteban actually recruits people. Altram, I think, is mind fucked. Like, and apparently Trevor is basically Thomas's like doppelganger. Like he's the same kind of psycho, stalker, sociopath, psyops guy.
Oh yeah, there's tons of them.
So, you know, my whole thing right now, honestly, like for the next 4 days, is just laying down as much suppressing fire on these fuckers as possible.
Well, it's going to be pretty easy to do that, I think. Although you're going to have to get away from those other motherfuckers.
No, I'm fine. I blocked them all, and like they can scream all they want. I don't give a fuck. Like that's just how that goes. Oh
yeah, these guys definitely don't have anything out of the ordinary that they've been up to out of this point. Like from here on, just that entire group of people, like the White Rabbit, when they were running all of this bullshit back in the day, all the hashtags and shit that they were using, especially when there was like false flags and stuff that came up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really weird that not more people had dug into this stuff, but I think more or less it was because of, you know, just the sheer insanity.
Well, it's I mean, it's a disinfo op, right? That's what it is. The whole thing is disinfo, right? And that's what makes it fucking impossible for normies to report on. And unfortunately, like the Aspies, like Rothschild and Summer that get into it get fucking psyoped.
Oh yeah.
That's literally what happened.
Well, here's how I found out that Lestat was like, you know, actually, when I found out Lestat actually got into this, like, I don't learn things as they happen. I learned May 1st of 2019 when I received these messages that Thomas was interacting with Lestat and they were talking about War Drummer. War Drummer's a QAnon guy. He had a pretty big channel. I think he went by the Deacon, he went by War Drummer, and a couple of
Michael Deacon.
names.
Michael Deacon, right? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's Michael Deacon.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Lestat was doing videos for him? I did not know this, you know? Like, this is stuff that, like, I had just been like, oh, wow, Lestat actually did work with some of the Q people. Like, well, here's Thomas and Lestat talking about a War Drummer video that Lestat had helped on, and he says, called him up, we're about to go war with him because he mentioned me, he backed down.
I know all this stuff.
Like,
I know all this stuff.
It's crazy.
I mean, he showed me that one because they're talking about Q.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why is he? I didn't even know that he was in with Q, and yet
he wasn't. He wasn't at all.
He wasn't?
No, he was not in Q in any way. He didn't like any of it. He did some videos. He did like a video for the Gabriels. He did like, you know, he was struggling along with everybody else trying to figure out what the fuck is happening to him.
He was struggling along.
Dude, like, listen, he talks about you the same way, and I believe both of you is the problem here. I think both of you are telling the truth. And I don't give a shit about the interpersonal squabbles, because you're both going to just find out eventually what happened here. So, like, I really, like, for me, like, that whole side of things is just fucking collateral damage from the psychopaths who, like, manufacture drama on purpose. Like, that's what they do for a living. And they do it to everybody, including you and Lestat and fucking, half the people that got involved in this stuff.
Patrick McDonald, who's all into Cicada and thinking that he's like solved the code of the universe because of Thomas Schoenberger.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people like this who just got completely wrecked.
That's him right there.
They just destroyed their fucking minds. For what?
Mm-hmm. And that goes all into, the ITNJ shit.
That's all the Robert David Steele shit is fucking disgusting, man. Like, this whole thing.
It's the worst. And then this Ronald Bernard guy's not even fucking anybody. I made a video exposing exactly who this guy really was and how he's not a fucking expert witness survivor. He was never a fucking banker. He's just impersonating an actual banker.
Right. I mean, the whole thing,
disgusting.
As soon as they pull out the fucking, like, powdered wigs and shit, like, I'm like, oh, don't get me started on the whole Cappy thing. Fuck, man.
Yeah, well, there's the Cappy thing from Thomas. August 15th, 2018, plus Ultra. I didn't know that was Thomas's email, though. But that's kind of like one of those things where I didn't even realize that it was such a, like, huge situation between these guys. And, I was learning more and more off the cuff, so, like, I don't really hold shit against Stat. I just want him to admit that, he did wrong and then just be it, Like, I already admitted when I did wrong. I've already done all that shit. I don't understand what his deal is and how he could still, like, be pushing me in this angle when, I've been trying to fucking do this for years. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Look, neither of it makes any sense to me. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Is like you're not actually arguing. Like, there's nothing for you guys to be arguing about. The only thing that's there is what's left over from this fucking psyop. So, like, I don't want to. I just, like, trying to unfuck that situation. Like, is just not something that I can do right at the moment. Right now, I'm just trying to focus on these guys. Whoa, what's this?
Oh, that's Janon. Yeah, Cicada is at least cool. Q is really close to going down, and everyone I know and involved already did their interviews with the FBI. The FBI said, you're good because they were 4chanQ, and like Cicada, they didn't do anything illegal. Now, 8chanQ broke multiple laws, and it's going down fast. TS appears to have involvement with 8chanQ, and I think he's panicked. And then later on, Janon flipped a script on me, and then was all on fucking Thomas's side.
Uh-huh. Do you know when this was? When was this?
Yeah, this was May 16, 2019.
Oh.
And this is stuff that, like, when I was taking it all here, this is all the shit they have. But it's actually from earlier than that. This is probably from, like, before that, because it's something that I got off of Thomas posting it on fucking Twitter. On one of his many alternative accounts.
Thomas posted that? Because that has to be earlier than 2019, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is earlier than 2019, but it's a message between them two prior. It's not something from me to him, but maybe it's me to him. But where did it come from? Because there's no reply.
Right.
Like, it's a lot of weirdness that these guys have been pulling together. So, like, I had been looking a lot into this, and when I had been looking at it, I just noticed that it was always the same people, always the same groups, coming up with new shit every single time, posting shit about the Isaac Cappy situation, and then like, Brendan Dilley's like in here.
Yeah.
Brendan Dilley, like, so many of these motherfuckers are just so redonkulous. But I've noticed that, a lot of these different people have put together all these ridiculous things, and a lot of it was just Thomas himself putting out info, and he was always trying to disassociate himself from 8chan-Q, but to me, he seemed to have more involvement in it than anything, because, like, in the original stuff, like, it didn't seem like he had any direct involvement with actually posting on that shit, so...
Right.
Who knows? How these guys are going to be moving forward, but I wanted to make sure that I at least, like, kept shit, but, like, once I figured out that there was actually shit going on with all of it,
yeah,
like, there's all these QAnon people that were pulling people together.
Sacred, do you know who Sacred Geometry is?
No, Warrior for Truth. One of Thomas's friends.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys don't ever talk to me. I just was taking screenshots of all the shit.
Totally. It's just Sacred shows up constantly.
It's like one of his best friends.
Yeah, like might be him.
It's like when I donated to MAGA Coalition, I donated them like a bunch of money on DLive after they became regular.
Uh-huh.
And then they started trying to make a psyop where they were saying that I was fucking doing shit. Or I was paying them and it was like a FEC thing. Wait, no. There's one of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the people that was working with Thomas Schoenberger, who is claiming to be his lawyer. Some people have actually said that this is actually anti-lawyer.
Who?
Anti-lawyer?
Is that a...
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
You've never heard of that one? Oh, wow, it's like a huge psyop account. They call him NT on Twitter. Crazy Days and Crazy Nights.
Oh, God, I have never seen this one.
Oh, God, you're going to love this one. Blind Items. This guy puts
out
this
one. I know the Blind Items one.
Yeah, this is the guy that does the Blind Items.
So what the fuck does he have to do with Q?
I don't think it really has anything to do with Q. It's just that was who Thomas was claiming to be his lawyer.
Oh, I see.
And then I looked him up, and I was just kind of like doing one thing, and then later on, Thomas was saying, yeah, my lawyer is anti-lawyer. And it's just kind of funny because I mentioned this guy's name to another person named Gabe Hoffman, who's actually gone on Anti-Lawyer's show, and Gabe Hoffman got really sketched.
Yeah.
Really sketched. Malia Zimmerman, Rod Wheeler. From the Sethridge story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny. That's old. Oh, this Neon Revolt guy.
Yeah.
That one time that somebody impersonated Tanya, claiming to... Yeah, literally. I had to get the call records because they were looking for me.
Wow.
And this is partly how I got the restraining order against Thomas, because we figured out that one of Thomas's friends was actually the one that called it in, and it wasn't Tanya, actually.
So he can't actually leave the state, right? Is that?
He should not be able to leave the state,
okay.
But he has before. Like he wasn't able to leave California, and he dipped out of California.
Right. I'm just trying to figure out if he's really going to Mount Shasta or not.
Probably not.
Probably
yeah,
not.
True Eye the Spy or whatever.
Yeah, that's
Tyler.
That's Tyler. That's different from E.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell fucking staff forever. I'd be like, that's not the same fucking guy. And then John Magnus was the name. So like after I started looking up some of this stuff, like it really went far back on how far these guys are going through. And a lot of this stuff is like these ridiculous things that, Lestat was making. Trying to be like, oh, well, this is what's going on with this person. This is what's going on with this person. Although he had, like, very small amounts of data that could have said, like, half of the things that he was saying. So, like, some of it has ended up being kind of slightly true, but it was the overall, like, juncture that we had seen Oh, here's another Thomas
Yeah, I've seen this
picture
one.
that he was using for catfishing and shit. I mean, it's just so crazy, dude. Like, how deep they went. And, Toots. Janon always posts on 4chan as one of these popular accounts. Toots Little Fighter.
Uh-huh.
But he always does these things. Booms at 10 on Fox. Do you make more booms yet? Fucking boomers.
Uh-huh.
So, like, he spent a lot of time on there. That's why I brought him onto the show, because I figured he was going to be with us to actually going through this shit, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, he just basically...
Because here's the thing. Like, Janon, he's hanging around all the time. He always seems to be doing work for Thomas. And, you know, whether he's literally working for him or not. And he's pushing, like, on this ECW thing, he seems to bring it up a lot. Like, I'm a little worried that they're pushing on it too much. That they're being too fucking obvious about it. Like, why are they doing that?
I think they're doing it just because, like, it makes them look better. Or it makes it sound better. Like, they push on shit like that all the time. And usually when they're pushing on shit, like, really hard, it's because it's not true. That's why they're pushing it.
Well, that's my concern. Because I'm trying to figure out who the fuck that is, because that account is involved. And it feels like ECW in some ways, but then, like, what does Ezra Cohen Watnick have to do with Cicada? Why is it constantly putting videos up with fucking Cicada on it? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Fucking Gabe Hoffman when he was working with Unicock. I hate that guy. Well, I don't really hate that guy. He's nice. Yeah.
So, I mean, what is your best guess right now at the, like, actual structure of QAnon? Like,
I know this guy's involved.
Who's that?
Doug Stewart.
Oh, okay.
Wearing the shirt that I made of Nathan Sloatman. He's the only person that owns that shirt. Besides Nathan Sloatman.
So you're convinced that Microchip is still deep?
I'm convinced Microchip is Christian Smith. And I'm convinced that Doug Stewart was around and now he's in with the gang. Or maybe he was always in with the TS gang, actually. That's what I think. I mean, he's been so far out on all of these different things. And he's definitely roped in with all the outright trolls and shit like that. The only problem is like anytime Microchip has done voice appearances, it's never been Doug Stewart. It's always been a different person who we believe is Christian Smith. Because, I mean, motherfucker disappeared after that came out. So, if it wasn't him, damn, I don't know.
So you're saying you're saying they're two different people?
Yeah, I'm saying that Doug Stewart has never posted as Microchip, but I think that he helped directed the account, like Thomas direct shit. So like the person running the account is probably Christian Smith, and that's probably who Microchip is. But Christian Smith is amalgamating things like Z would amalgamate things. So Z created the addresses and was the person that was making all the messages happen, but he was just taking dictation through emails for other people.
Okay.
To me, that definitely seems to be...
So, but are you saying Christian Smith and Doug Stewart are the same person? Or that Microchip was both Christian Smith and Doug Stewart?
I'm saying that Microchip is only Christian Smith, and that some of the stuff that Microchip says and does have been dictated by Doug Stewart. Meaning,
Okay.
like, Doug Stewart is like Thomas in the sense is he's a puppet master.
Got it.
He does certain things himself, but Doug has been driving too much and running a business to be able to actually, like, facilitate it. But he could just be sitting there, you know, Discord voice to texting people shit to do. That's what he could have been doing. And it was very shortly, like, earlier this year after those guys came off of me, that, you know, all of a sudden Doug's even kind of like faltered on everything that he said, although he hasn't outwardly gone and said anything that has been wrong. He's just like, oh, fuck DeFango, he's a liar or whatever. But he was one of the main people that was pushing this whole thing in the first place. And then he had this other person that was like coming in, Ningzumi Ningen. She's this, we call her Om Shinrikyo girl. She was another person that, like, came in who said that she was, like, against cults and shit, but, like, she embedded herself in a cult and did a bunch of shit, like, crazy shit. The Ed Potowski call. All right, let me switch it so you can actually hit to hear the audio. So I can do it.
I mean, there's nothing that really happened between you and I. It was negative. We're going to do a website, then I tried putting you guys in business and made introductions for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
In terms of Aaron and Seth Rich, you guys didn't do anything. So, nothing really to talk about.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, actually. I didn't know. I heard Beth got some.
It came, let me just say, it came from, I think, Schoenberger. I think he reached out to them. I think this, but I haven't done anything. You haven't done anything. There's nothing to talk about. I mean, all I know is I put, you know, Thomas up and you up for X number of days. You left. I kept Thomas up. Then when I found he took money from the rabbi, I kicked him out. But you can say whatever you want, but there's nothing. I mean, honestly, I don't even know what anybody could possibly say.
Yeah. I know what Schoenberger's been saying to other people out there, and I think it's...
Yeah, well, Schoenberger can say whatever the hell he wants to say, and so he's then given them Joe's phone number, Burkett.
Oh, jeez.
And, well, he gave Beth, and, I mean, there's nothing here. The whole case that this guy, Aaron Rich is saying is that his father didn't tell me that his son broke into the DNC server. Well, his father did tell me that. There's nothing more I can say. End of story.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to get caught up with these fucking guys because I know that they're probably going to come after me. I mean, I called Biss. He says that he can't take my case because he's way too busy. So I'm just going to try to put another lawyer in front of me. They haven't subpoenaed me yet or anything. I just know that they've been trying to. And because of Beth, she called me and told me that she got an email from these fuckers. So I was just like, all right, well, this seems all bad.
These guys, did you ever see The Lion King?
Yeah.
Do you remember the laughing hyenas who were just a pain in the ass all the time?
Oh, yeah.
That's what these guys are like. You do whatever you want to do, but from my standpoint...
You've been talking to Farmer Funk?
I didn't do anything. You didn't do anything.
Did he?
No one did anything.
He sent me all your messages.
Of course
Don't tell
he
him
did.
that I told you.
You know, like if they want to interview
Of course.
a guy with his legal record and his background and so on, and I mean, he can say whatever he wants to say, but there's nothing to say.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
There's literally nothing to say, and
There's literally nothing to say, and that's actually, Ed, I don't think it was legal for me to record that phone call, so that's probably why I haven't shared it out, but that was definitely one of the things that I said to the lawyers, and I was just like, you know, I talked to Ed about this shit, and, you know, I mean, you guys could say whatever you want, but, you know, you guys are basically sitting on Schoenberger's thing, and then...
Right. So why is Funk sending you my texts? That's weird.
I don't know. I said he wants to know shit from you. He wants to know the chats.
Well, why in the fuck would I tell him anything? I don't understand. That's all I said in those chats. It's like, bro, what are you talking about? No.
But this is the main QProof. Isn't this the guy that runs QProofs.com, motherfucker?
Maybe, but what the fuck am I supposed to? What am like? I'm not giving him my sources information. I'm not doing it. Like, I don't know what his angle is, because I'm not doing that. So
he just wants to understand.
I don't know that he does, man. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like he's trying to get information from me. For his own.
You're trying to get information from everybody. If you want him to give you information, he's one of those people that you got to give him something. How do you think I got him to talk to me in the first place? Yeah. I gave him something.
Well, we can talk about that.
I mean, you don't have to give him that. You don't have to give him that. But I'm just saying, I told you, he'll probably end up talking to you, but he's going to want something. But you got to know how these people operate, dude.
It's fine. He can operate that way if he wants. I told him, I said to him, and you can check the text, I said, dude, I'm happy to talk to you, but I'm not going to play fucking games with you. And he just, he does not respond to that. And, that's just my thing. I'm not LARPing right now, Like, I do plenty of that.
That's a Shinrikyo girl right there.
Is that Sarah?
Yeah, that's Sarah. Sarah Nagy. She was big in with Doug and fucking Jayanon, that whole entire group. So, like, when we were trying to take down Q and did the Q Slayers group, that's what Doug and all those guys were in with me. And then that totally just fell apart, like, almost... It wasn't immediately, but it was pretty close.
Wait, so you're saying Sarah was in with them?
Yes!
Because she's like...
I met Sarah. The only reason I talked to Sarah was because she came in through Doug, JB, and Microchip. She was with those guys. She was part of the people that was, like, trying to explain to me that the Microchip story was true. Are you shitting me? Sarah Nagy was all over that, or Sarah Hightower.
Sarah Hightower is her name.
Yeah, whatever the fuck her name is.
Because she's like tight with that whole fucking, Fred crowd or whatever.
Yeah, her boyfriend Mike Shalili, aka Nightwave, on YouTube. Basically one of the biggest anti-Semitic channels that I've seen in my life. So, she says that this is her fucking boyfriend, and then she was like, yeah, this is my boyfriend, and these are all the people. So, like, I'm trying to get this Q thing taken down with the story that I got. These guys are coming over to me and confirming it. The only reason I knew that Microchip was Microchip in the first place was because of outside sources, because we had discussed things that he couldn't have known. We explained it in the interview, but he's pissed because he's like, yo, like, you didn't do anything, I did everything.
Right.
Like, you don't get to take any credit for this. And I'm like, I don't want to take any credit for this. I'm just saying, I gave you a plan, and then you guys made the plan happen, and now this is what's happening, like, you guys let it go, but you lied. And that's what I was trying to, like,
So when you say plan, what do you mean?
So it's the plan was always to let it go on 4chan, to watch it go to 8chan. Because I was expecting that a group of people would take it over and try to take it over to 8chan, and then we would just use basic logic about DES to explain to these people that there's no fucking possible way it's the same fucking person. But nobody wanted to listen to it because nobody could understand it.
Slow down. Sorry, I'm being dumb. So there was a plan, right? When a plan for what exactly?
So the plan itself that I came up with, that I was trying to do, was I'm trying to get 4chan and 8chan shut down. Because I was seeing fake whistleblowers like FBI Anon, Mega Anon, and these other things that were coming out. the switcheroo is that I told all of those people in that room, I was like, I think I've discovered where all of this information is coming from, and it's this Cicada 3301 organization that I solved the stupid puzzle, and that's why I'm talking right now in this fucking room. And I was like, so my plan is something along the lines of a book called Q by Luther Blissett, where we play this prank on a lot of people, where we basically parody the Antifa ideology into something more patriotic and less violent, and then we take these people and we psyop up the shit out of them, because, you know, psyoping the shit out of the American people is not illegal anymore, and technically we don't need to be a part of any governmental organization in order to source the materials for this. We just need to have people willing to work in that office that are at DEFCON, that are willing to just, you know, like kick the name of a file to search for out really quick, since there's no cameras or anything in here. So like nobody's ever going to be able to exfiltrate any information that isn't verbal out of here. So it was a careful selection, because I wanted to be in a room with a lot of people with security clearances and otherwise better information than me to help me develop the story a little bit better and like get an understanding. So like I was like, the idea to get shit 4chan, 8chan shut down is we got to create the psyop to end all psyops. We got to take something, we got to make it huge. I was like, I've been seeing this thing already on 4chan that was kind of getting like, you know, a little bit of play. Somebody was impersonating Q like from Star Trek, but I was like, it would be more, we want to take it into a more westernized feeling and make it a little more Catholic, so that it could be like a Catholic Western, like the Luther Blissett book. And I was like, this will help us basically kind of glom onto people that like Star Trek a little bit, but then, you know, like we'll be able to capture more of the normal folk that are believing in the Christianity and things. And I was like, but the idea is to take otherwise normal people and then expose them to all of the disinformation that's available, but slowly, and take it in a way where it's very open-ended. So like people are making their own research. That's why they tell you to do your own research, is because they're telling you to go down a rabbit hole. And since I had spent a lot of time digging myself into rabbit holes and digging out of them, like Mr. Moleman over here, or mud, defango means muds, because I'm always in the fucking mud, which I didn't know when I first made the name that that's what it meant. And when I found that out, like that one Primus song, my name is Mud, watch me up on my back, my name, that it was
I love Primus, man.
Me too. So like Primus. I just kind of like was pulling together all of these different tropes, and I was like, look, we put out disinformation on purpose. We're all whistleblowers in here, right? We all care about like the country and making things better, but the problem that we're facing is that disinformation is so rampant in YouTube, online and shit. We don't know who to trust. Like, you know, you think you know somebody good. I just ran into Robert David Steele, and oh my god, you know, like this guy is just like the craziest disinformation artist I ever met.
Right.
And I was like, my understanding of this would be that we need to purposefully put out the most salacious, juicy tidbit of disinformation that people had ever heard. Something like, you know, Hillary Clinton gets arrested at this day and this time, just to be funny. And I was like, we say this, and then, you know, we kind of just play with people. It might take a little while for it to go. I was like, but we start posting under just like a singular account, and then we play on that account, maybe like try it a few times, and then once something finally sticks, we take that thing and then we kind of run in with it. But we start off very clearly telling people about Operation Mockingbird so that they understand it, because at the very beginning we're telling everybody that we're fucking psyoping in them, but they have to be aware of it, right? Like, they're just kind of like, oh no, this super secret person from the government that tells you to trust the government is telling you to fucking read about Project Mockingbird because they want you to understand it. But the whole idea is that we're actually teaching people about it. It's an instructive thing where we're like, all right, we're putting out this disinformation, you're going to learn about it, and then we're going to use tropes that are existent in reality. And since people attach themselves to things like the Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet, you know, it's kind of like the number 23. If you force that upon people, you can get that ideology going, which is very similar to the 11/11 shit, the I am shit. I mean, just enter cult ideology here and it will work. So I was like, if we take this information, we put it out bad, we know here what's good or bad. But what we do is that we don't say anything about it. We wait. And the idea is we're going to see this thing. It's going to start on 4chan. And like everything happens on 4chan, it's going to get moved over to 8chan some way, somehow. And then the Nazis and all the child pornographers are going to get their hands onto it. And it's going to get crazy. I was like, we need to understand who those people are and be able to identify them and get people to actually care about identifying them, because people don't care right now. You know, Sean Al-Tabidi can just sit in his house and fucking, you know, on his laptop writing complete, absolute nonsense about shit. And, like, you know, he's just getting front page news on Facebook. He's going everywhere, you know, like every little tidbit of disinformation satire that he was putting out on Newsbreak or whatever the hell he calls his website now. These guys were pushing disinformation like this and showing us that this is a thing. So we can't trust anybody. So we got to figure out who to trust. We got to create a psyop. We know it's a psyop, and then we watch and we wait. We see who gets onto it. We even engage with people about it, but we don't tell anybody that we know the thing, right? We don't know. So we're like the Illuminati, which goes back to the Illuminati iconography that I use all the time, because it's like Operation Mindfuck, you know, all these other things that I'm really into, the KLF. Like, it to me seemed like a really interesting idea at the time, and I was like, we'll be able to follow this disinformation pathway, and if people are at least paying attention, you know, like now maybe they won't be, but in a year from now they're definitely going to be. So we can explore, you know, what happens when we release a social movement in the emergence phase, and that goes into some of the emergent stuff that we're seeing in the puzzles, because I was forcing the narrative on that stuff, because, you know, Thomas gave me control, so I was trying to utilize it to further what I was already into, because I was trying to deprogram people. But the problem with deprogramming people is that they don't even understand about being programmed, you know, watching TV, all these other things. So we just use some of the most simple tropes that we know are effective in this type of psyop shit. We put it in there on purpose, and then we ask people to just do their own research, and then we send them off on their tails, basically wasting their lives on the computer like I've done. Right? Like, I've spent so much time on the computer going into these things. Like, I could tell you about every fucking psyop, and I'm probably an expert in some way, shape, or form about any random little psyop anecdote. You know, like, that's why I knew about the iHeartB shit, is because, you know, I had a computer back then, and I was a little kid, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Right? Like, it was intense to me. I played Majestic. Yep. If you remember that ARG, right? So, like, I was wanting to use this tropes.
Yeah.
And then, so I said, guys, if we see this move over and then all of a sudden it gets really nasty and crazy, we can use this to our advantage and finally shut them down. I was like, but it's going to take us pushing these people and giving them the best thing that they ever got, the one thing that's going to push them to the edge and make them do the criminal shit. Because you can't arrest somebody if they're just on the line, right? Like, you got to make them do the full crime in order to get them, right? Isn't that how it goes? So, like, essentially, like, what was happening on the 4chan was just like any other random LARP that happened on 4chan. The difference is that I had already seen this pathway developed. I was not creating the pathway. I was just exposing it to new people that actually could understand something. And from this point, you know, like, I didn't get very many people that came forward, you know, like, I think I saw Jack Posobiec. I heard the name Mega 3X a lot. I saw Justin McConney, and that was it. After that, I talked to Justin McConney very briefly. He sent me over a link to, like, get in a Keybase chat, And then he got me connected with a character called Microchip, where we and Microchip talked a little bit about like creating a Discord. I made a Discord. After I got in the Discord, we talked a little bit, and then I dipped out of the Discord, and then there's a specific point, like in the logs or whatever, where you can actually see where it goes, like, where I'm saying some things, and then, you know, like, I'm like, oh, it's not going to work, and then it's all of a sudden, like, sup, guys, and it's a different person that's actually running the account, because I gave them the account so that I was completely separated from all of it. And then I just kind of sat back, and I was just like, okay, well, you know, if it works, eventually, you know, people are going to start talking about some random shit. And then if you watch my channel, like, I would pay attention to the chans. I was consistently, like, looking for, you know, little clues and hints about stuff, but I didn't really see anything come up until the 28th, and that's when I had put out a video where somebody asked me, like, have you seen this shit on fucking 4chan? And I was like, nah, I haven't looked at this shit yet. And then the next day, they're like, oh, have you seen this thing on 4chan? And I was like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever.
So, who'd you give the Discord to?
Well, the
like,
Discord,
who was in the Discord?
They told me that there was a character named Spicky. So when I was in the Discord, there was only like 3 of us. There was a guy named Droog. There was a Microchip. There was me as Turbo, and then there was this account called Dreamcatcher. And those are the ones that I remember seeing. And then later on, I saw, what's it called, Droog still as an admin, because that was one of the first people. And I still don't know who the fuck that is, actually. Nobody's ever told me who Droog is, D-R-O-O-G.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's told me, but I know that guy was also an administrator or like a moderator of some kind for this other alt-right Discord called Outer Heaven. And like Metal Gear Solid iconography there for you, like but it was like the bad guys in Metal Gear Solid ran Outer Heaven, which was like this big fortress of like doom, where they're basically like Nazis trying to like take over the world with nanomachines and like make everybody white.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, it's not good, you know. I don't know if you've ever looked into Hideo Kojima's work or whatever. Like, a lot of the stuff that happens in this shit seems to be like, for whatever reason, Metal Gear Solid fits really well, because like his whole thing was like, there's this guy whose name's Radin. He's like psyoped into believing he's a soldier doing VR missions, and then, you know, they psyop him into like doing a whole bunch of shit.
Right.
And then you realize that it's all a psyop, and he's just getting controlled by AI machines, and nothing is real.
Right.
So, real crazy stuff. So, like, a lot of this stuff that you see kind of in QAnon goes into play, because people used to say Q is an AI. Like, there was a whole phase where that was the case.
Right.
And that was the major prevailing theory until people kind of, like, broke that down. But essentially, in the beginning, you know, like, I asked a bunch of people to help develop the idea, and at first, you know, like, they were like, well, you should make it simpler, you know, like, it was a little more elaborate. They had told me to make it more simple,
yeah,
and then they said, if you make it more simple, and you need to get some people that are willing to play both sides, like Hegelian dialectic, so, like, I know that there was one guy, he was working for Carnegie Mellon, and I think his name was Adele Nero. I remember seeing him around at that time, or at the beginning of the time, and he later on went on to like the Patriot Soapbox, and he was calling himself like 412 Anon and saying he could never be doxxed or whatever, but there was just like a video of his face sitting on like the fucking YouTube forever. And I mean, I found it, I showed people who it was, nobody cared back then, and then it was like a year and a half later, people like re-doxed him, and then it was kind of like a funny joke because I just replayed an old video that I had made.
Right.
And like, that video got struck at that time, but then the old video's still up, so it was just really funny. So like, the whole thing with that is that he was using the Carnegie Mellon systems to track QAnon and like all of the fucking secret sealed indictments and this whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all that was supposed to be a part of it. Like I mentioned, I was like, we need to have characters. Obviously, Hillary Clinton has to be a character. She's the the bad person in the story because she was the big villain that everybody hated in the election or whatever. And, why not beat up on her a little bit more?
Right.
I was like, we need a anti-hero, dumbass, bad boy, whatever. Mike Flynn fits the bill, in my opinion. I was like, because, he's somebody that already has a huge following. And, I mean, if somebody starts to support him, I bet you we could suck off of their followers really easily. And I mean, that's why he was selected to be a part of it. And then I said,
wait, you're saying Mike Flynn was selected to be part of it?
Yeah, like I said, I want Mike Flynn to be in this thing. I said, I want Mike Flynn to be in this thing because he would be the perfect, anti-hero character, in my opinion, for this thing, because Mike Flynn was apparently a traitor, took some money or something like that. I mean, he's a fucking dumbass general, whatever. That's the way I looked at it at that point. I think that's basically exactly what I said. I think I said fuck more times. So, and after that, I was like, he's not exactly a hero. He's actually kind of like a villain, really. I was like, but it doesn't really matter. He's just a character.
So how did he get so fucking involved then?
Well, psyops, motherfucker. I mean, you're seeing QAnon, and then they're supporting him, and all these Q supporters are also Mike Flynn supporters. So, eventually, all of these fucking Mike Flynn supporters are going to be spouting off of QAnon. Mike Flynn's going to get on to QAnon. Mike Flynn's a general. He's going to start psyoping himself and being like, fuck it. Secret insider, man. Look at this shit. I got out of fucking jail, man, and shit. This shit might be real. It's hysterical. But the reality is that I didn't have any idea that any of this shit would go down whatsoever.
But here's the thing, right? I hear you say that, but Flynn and all these fucking characters seem to be hanging around together well before this stuff, right? Like Flynn, it's one hop from Flynn to Casamini, who's Thomas's boy. There's a bunch of shit that does not feel at all Flynn got chosen as a character and then just kind of limped into being the main fucking archetype.
Well,
I don't know. That feels weird,
seriously
man.
Crazy part. It's hard to understand that myself, but it only makes sense that he got really. If you really look at it, the original Q did not say anything about Michael Flynn. I don't think, actually. Where's my not trip code thing? Here it is. You ever seen this not trip code? There's a GitHub profile, but it's what we use to track the actual ones.
Yeah, I've seen this. Who made this?
Not me. I believe the person that supposedly made this was Mr. Ship, and it's only got one follower, Sheila Botelho, who's also in qcodefag.github, Keybase.
Because CodeFag is Ron.
Mm-hmm. But this isn't Ron.
No, I know.
And this right here goes through the original stuff, and it goes post by post of everything. So the first verified Q post, the Hillary Clinton post, and then it goes to Mockingbird.
Wait, what?
Mockingbird.
What URL is that?
I'll just DM it to you.
Thanks.
This is a very interesting,
Because I've seen this, but the one I saw wasn't really functional at all.
Well, I mean, my computer's good, so...
Fair enough.
If you have a shitty computer or whatever, you need some IT tech
bro.
help or whatever. Just
No. I've done this whole thing on my fucking iPad, the entire thing.
Really? That's funny. I do a lot of stuff on my iPad now, but right now I'm on the computer just because you can't do this on an iPad.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really do this on an iPad, period, because they don't let you, because Apple kind of sucks at that. I mean, you could stream it, but you have to broadcast it. And it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But it's just all because they don't know how to secure their shit. So this whole thing is still available. So, like, it's got the thread. It's got the JSON.
Oh, wow.
And shit. Like, so it doesn't matter. And it's all archived. So even if they tried to get rid of it, like, we wanted to make sure that people knew that this was the first one and then this was the second one. And it's funny because, you know, you have all of the info that you need, the trips, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody could, like, really go off of it. And you could kind of see that I like these other ones, though. You know, like Q alerts, or what is it? Q proofs? No, was it Q
alerts?
I think that's the one that everybody uses now.
Yeah.
So it's like, when you search these things, it's like Flynn. There was a character that had come in on our thing, and it was Flynn Lives.
Yeah.
Actually, like, I have stuff from Flynn Lives. So
Do you have any idea who that actually was?
right here, if you look at it, it was October. Flynn is the first time that we kind of talked. They kind of talked about it.
Well, that's October is the very first point it possibly could be, right?
Well, it was October 31st.
Well, okay, so 3 days later.
October 31st, it was 3 days later from the beginning of the entire thing. And then after the entire thing started going, like, he started talking about Flynn, and it went for 3 days. And then he stopped talking about Flynn until he went into the new trip code. So if you looked at the original post about it, so it says, what's Flynn background, what's his rank, blah, 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 blah. But that's when we had Crumbs, Snow White, Godfather, Q, and, you know, Snow White and Seven Dwarves, all that shit. So this right here is technically, I believe, supposedly one of the last, like, OG ones. Now, what we talk about, or the way that we're supposed to dictate, or at least the way that I'm supposed to understand it, is that if we look at the timeline from what these guys were doing shit, it ends abruptly. And this is the last, like, verified post. So after the November 25th.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, it stops, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't go any farther because that's it.
Yeah.
And it was weird because it says, who knows where the bodies are buried? The map is in front of you. Reread. Expand your thinking. Purpose for time being spent here. Q. And then that's kind of what the thing was supposed to be left off at. The very next post was the Matlock. And then that's when they started doing the CB, you know, like, they had been doing those CBTS threads. I think it was, fucking 525? I don't even know how big it got. I saw it was up in the 10,000s at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But Betsy DeVos, all of this stuff that they were talking about at this point, like, nothing was really outside of the ordinary, but the really relevant thing here is that when Q started talking about InQtel, I interviewed and had the founder of Keyhole on my fucking channel. So, like, I got the dude's cell phone number, and this guy, I'm trying to remember what the fuck his name is all of a sudden.
The founder of Keyhole, the Geo company?
that made Google Maps. So you remember Keyhole?
Yeah,
Google Maps?
He was my boss.
What the fuck is his name? I know, he was your boss at one point. So I met this guy one time. I actually had a video. It was like a live stream where he came down. He lived in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm trying to remember what his fucking name is, though. John?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right. No, that doesn't sound right. I'm Googling it right now. Because it was this. There was Brian McClellan.
John Hankey is the founder of...
Yeah, John Hankey. So, is that guy into VR?
He's into augmented reality. Yes.
Yeah, well, he's into AR now. I know now that. But yeah, he came down to Gameplank. randomly, it was a VR night. I did not know who the guy was. And then it was him and another dude named Bill Maher, not the actor guy, but dude from Texas that worked on semiconductors. But I had spoken with in probably like 2012. So I was trying to help people get off of the ground with FPGA arrays, but I didn't really understand. I got tapped because I had a little bit of knowledge on the systems, and like I actually did show you some of the stuff when I was working for Firesight. Like I was actually pretty adept at building miners and things for cryptocurrencies, and he was working on FPGA arrays, but he was like, "Yeah, I've been looking for you for fucking ever, man. Remember all those all the Bitcoins that the fucking people gave me to do all that? I think they gave him like 300 or some shit like that. They gave him 300 Bitcoins. And, but it never got off the ground because the FPGAs became useless because somebody cracked the ASIC. And then once they made the Bitcoin ASICs, like that shit, it was basically pointless to even try. So, like, they basically went ground up. So, some of the people that I knew that were big miners spent a bunch of money trying to, like, really further the technology, but ended up fucking themselves. And Bill Maher was like, basically, he was like, I wanted to give it to you. And I was just like, oh, well, that's cool, man. But I never went to went to Texas, but I never actually got it. So it made me wonder, like the future of what's going on in these different things, like I've actually had some hands in a lot of these things. It just made me wonder, like, oh man, all of a sudden.
I feel that, man. Looking back at my past is a similar thing. It's like, wait, it all sort of like makes sense in retrospect.
Nothing ever makes sense in retrospect, dude.
What's that?
Nothing ever makes sense in retrospect.
No, it does. For me, it does.
It's like when I was doing these right here. That's what I was looking for. That was funny. Those had a dual purpose. I was also going to use those for hashing passwords.
Nice.
So, like, we could mine Ethereum, but then, like, repurpose it. And then I also had it hooked up where I was basically, I had one sitting behind one of my guys' tables. And basically what he could use it for is he could plug it into the Mac, and then he could render on it.
Nice.
So, like, at first it was an eGPU where I just had one of these guys right here, and then a cord plugged into the Thunderbolt on his Mac, and then he was using that GPU for rendering. But then I figured out how to take these, and then we used it as like a render farm. So, like, whenever he rendered something, he could just render it on the cluster, and it would go really fast. Which made him really happy. Although, after I did all that, like, it wasn't really doing much, but we put them all together, and just bought a bunch of parts.
Yeah, they're like, if you say the power box is on its side, it's like, I don't think that's going to...
But that was just, like, some simple-ass shit to do. And it was actually after I started doing that stuff, I think that's how Mar actually found me or whatever. Because it was around the same time that, like, the Keyhole founder dude showed up, and then right after fucking that shit, literally fucking QAnon's posting about Keyhole, and that was supposed to be kind of like, I guess, the end, because I was just like, all right, now these guys are just fucking with me, because there's no way, like, you would have been just talking about that, and then I just happened to meet the fucking founder of this motherfucker.
So when did I mean, was Thomas involved at all at that point? Are you saying that he had nothing to do with it in the beginning at all?
So in the beginning, like, that's what I've been trying to tell you, is that I told Thomas about Q, meaning I said, hey man, you should be on the lookout for this Q thing. I heard about it it's going to come up on 4chan. It's going to be really interesting. That's all I fucking told him.
But what's all the? Why is there so much Cicada tie-in with early Q? And why is Snow White doing that shit? Why is Thomas like in a whole bunch of threads and shit called Q like a couple months before? Like, Thomas clearly seems to know about Q, and more than that, seems to be testing shit out. Like,
so
like there's like not to get, like it's public. He's testing shit out on like Paula Davis, the Pavana, that's QAnon shit. Like a couple months before. Like I just don't believe that he didn't know anything until some point in November. It doesn't make sense. There's too much tie-in with Cicada, and like too much evidence that Thomas was at some level dicking around with the idea of Q.
See, that's the thing that a lot of people don't get, is that I mentioned Q to Thomas in September, but there was a reference to Q in the Cicada puzzle in early...
like March or something, right?
Yeah, March. And it was just a song. It was just called Q.
It was called Q.wave, I know.
Yeah, it was Q.wave. Like, Thomas didn't say anything about it. We never discussed anything.
Well, but he's talking he's talking about like pedophiles and shit. Like he's
in this song. What?
No.
It's coded music.
Yeah. I believe that. No, in comms that he has, right? Like RDS is in there early. The whole DNA of fucking QAnon, starting early, unless I'm wrong.
When did you get those screenshots from it, though? Because the thing is somebody could have changed
where
the name
where
of
did
the
the whole
no. Before.
When did the whole pedophile where did that come from?
The pedophile thing? I never saw that in the puzzles.
No, in QAnon.
The pedophile thing in QAnon, we figured that would probably end up associating itself with the Pizzagate shit.
You figured, or that was the plan? Like, I'm trying to figure out where...
Well, we figured that it would end up in there.
Because RDS is in there. Posobiec seems
When has the RDS ever been in?
What do you mean? RDS is in all sorts of emails with Thomas.
It's in there. Pizzagate comes in November. It says right here. With all the race war propaganda and Pizzagate possibility, I became suicidal because I can stand no longer. But the first time Pizzagate's ever referenced was not actually by Q. It was by another person.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Q was answering. Q actually first references Pizzagate as a sample 2 years later, or a year later, on May 14th of 2018.
A year later from what? Later.
Well, no, since it begins, so it's almost a year later.
No, but all the like the pedophilia and the fucking adrenochrome and all that shit, right? Like that's the core like fiction is that Democrats are cannibal pedophiles coming for your kids. Where did that come from? Because it's very Pizzagate.
Well, that comes from Pizzagate.
Yeah, but how did it happen that became whoever is running Q decides what the themes are going to be, right?
Well, November.
What's that?
Early November is when the pedo word starts coming up very clearly. So like when the Dems were covering it, like if you look at what they were saying at the specific point, like QAnon was meant to pick up on Pizzagate because it was going to give it the edge. But he didn't come out outright and say Pizzagate until afterwards.
No, I understand. What I'm trying
to... The pedo network in Hollywood.
No, what I'm trying to do is establish like the train for each of these fucking concepts, because I'm trying to understand what were the different things that added up to this and who contributed. Because I hear you that you feel like you laid the whole fucking thing out, You went to a Discord server. Tell me if I have this right. There's like 5 guys in there, Droog and these other dudes, and then you just kind of bounced, right? Mm-hmm. And you left.
And then they started doing the network, basically. So they had Twitter, DM groups, they had fucking the Discord, there was a Keybase, and basically they all started coming together. And what I didn't know, which you haven't let me explain, is that, remember, I was in the whistleblower meeting for a cicada puzzle. I used the cicada puzzle thing to like get everybody to meet. I was just telling, hey, be at this meeting at this time and handing them the fucking thing.
Wait.
That's how I modified the puzzle. Wait. I didn't change the puzzle.
First of all, you're getting like upset about something, and I have no idea.
No, I'm not upset.
No, but I have no idea what it's about that you're talking about right now because you're going real fast.
So,
yeah,
the way that I interjected this thing into the public at DEFCON in 2017 was that those guys gave me, I was supposed to just hang up a QR code somewhere. And then I printed out a whole fucking stack of them. And the way that I modified the puzzle is that I was walking around, handing it out to people and walking away. And then if they chased me down, I would just be like, they'd be like, are you with Cicada or something? And I'd say, no, I just work here. If you would like, there's a meeting at 6:00 for whistleblowers. It's the Sky Talk. You can join us to learn more. And then I would walk away. Mm-hmm. And I just kept doing that. So I passed out a fuck ton of these things. So eventually all of these people that wanted to hear cicada business showed up at this meeting wanting to learn more. And I told them more. Uh-huh. But after this point, like, I don't know if any of those people were in Cicada or not. I didn't know. All I knew is that if they were interested in Cicada, that would have probably been half of the reason that they were there. And the meeting was pretty full. Like, they were surprised because, it was an important thing because, like the Julian Assange stuff was going on at that particular time. And I don't know.
But I don't understand what happened at the meeting, though. What happened at the meeting?
So all I did was talk about the plan, and then I was like, so we got to use, like, fucking all of these different psyops. Pizzagate, the hateful stuff that people say about Hillary Clinton. We need to amplify it.
You're saying...
referencing it. So the reason it's in there is because I said we need to reference it. The only reason that it gets more...
Wait. There's a whistleblower meeting of, like, a bunch of people?
Yeah, it was like 60 people probably.
Okay. Where you laid out the fucking plan for QAnon.
Yeah, that's where I laid out the whole plan and asked for, options.
Is there any document about that at all?
The only documented evidence that you can find is nothing because... A 303 Sky Talk where we have it, we don't allow reporters, we don't allow cameras or of any kind or any types of recording devices because it's a safe place where you could go talk about very interesting things without having to worry about it. So the only way to really that you would be able to get it would be picking up, I guess, the DEFCON 2017 program, finding the 303 Sky Talk list. You could probably actually just reach out to the person that runs 303 Sky Talk, although I'll have to tell you, those guys really don't like talking to reporters, but
I'm sure.
Legitimately, we laid it all out. I laid it all out there.
Okay, if there were 60 people, who the fuck, can you point me at some of them? Anybody?
I can't. The only people that I can remember being in the room would have been Jack Posobiec and Justin McConney. And that's probably about the only 2 people that I would have known that would have been in the room. Because I didn't. Justin McConney's the guy that taught Donald Trump how to tweet.
Uh-huh.
He used to run social media for the Trump campaign. If you look at his resume very curiously, just in October is when he left the Trump campaign, and then all of a sudden the QAnon stuff happened. So for a long time, I actually thought that Justin McConney was Microchip, and I actually did make videos about that because I was like, yeah, there was this weird fucking guy that after the whole whistleblower meeting thing, you know, he kind of like stuck with me and was rolling around, although he introduced himself as a Fed, so like I was immediately like, well, I don't really want to hang out with you. But we ended up hanging out for a while. I took him to a couple of DEFCON parties. We went to like this Illuminati party. We went to another like weirder party. I can't even remember what it was really about, but it was a lot of dudes there. Not my style. And then we had the like, I guess it was like a whistleblower party or something like that. There was just a bunch of different parties. I mean, there was even this one where I ended up like, we stayed there for a while. It was the Google party. But it's not Google's party. It's the gay Google party. I can't remember exactly. QueerCon. That's what they called it. So, yeah. No, it was QueerCon. That's what they call it. But they had a puzzle there. So I was just there for the puzzle. I wasn't there for the dudes. But they were giving away free drinks and shit. So I was just like, all right, well, I'll take the free drinks. But, you know, like, I'm not fucking any dudes. I'm out of here. You know, I'm not saying that I don't like gay people or anything like that. It's just not my thing, you know. Like, I just know where I'm a cheap ass, so, you know, it's like, hey, you guys, let's just go into this one real quick. And all the guys are just like, I was like, this is where all the gay dudes are at, but we can get cheap drinks.
Yeah, free drinks. Fuck yeah.
Free drinks. And I was like, oh, and you might actually meet somebody that works for Google that's cool or whatever. Right. And I actually did meet one guy from Google. I think his name was like Zachariah or some shit like that. Not the whistleblower dude, though. Not that fucking guy. Although, wait, no way. I believe I did probably actually sit down and meet that guy and talk with him for a little bit. There's another guy, though, that was working there. The guy that did the SHA-1 collision talk. Like, I met him and his buddy that was working on it. So when they were developing the first SHA-1 collision for Google.
So check this out. Like, so in October, sorry, I'm just percolating on what you're telling me. Like that there was this like sort of secret meeting, but that there were like 60 people there, but you don't know who, right? Like it could.
Yeah, that's the point. I didn't want to know fucking who was in there. I didn't want to know any of those people's names. I didn't want anybody recording anything. I wanted to make sure that this whole fucking thing was wrapped up nice and tight, so that in the end, I mean, the only way that somebody's getting a recording out of that room is that if there was some kind of like secret government recording that somebody had to expose in order to actually make it true or something like that. But that's the thing, is that I didn't ask anybody to like know their names. All I know is that there was a presenter that was actually having the meeting. Do I even remember his fucking name? No, because I got pretty fucking drunk that night actually, because I won some money. So like it was kind of like a long time for me. I was having a good time, and when this thing happened, I just discussed it with these people, and I was just like, well, if this thing actually fucking guns down or something like that, there's some fucking crazy shit going on. And I had it in the back of my mind that if it is what I think it is, and these Cicada motherfucking people are just a entry point for this like bigger disinformation network, I was like, I gotta like ride the lightning on this one. And I told Thomas about Q in September, and they had already been running other Follow the White Rabbit, had these Discord rooms and shit that they were running. And it was my understanding that probably who is ever associated with the origination, you know, who's posting SQ, had to be in the Cicada in some way, shape, or form. And I never got confirmed into my understanding until I got those emails from Richard.
Thomas says he said, I mean, I think it's in a Richard email, something about CJ and Pepe, right?
Yeah, CJ and Pepe.
Yeah.
I remember those two guys, although Pepe, Kubar, and then that's another one that's like pops up on your list.
Oh, that guy. I'm talking to that guy. I was talking to that guy on Twitter today.
Oh, yeah. How's Pepe?
He's kind of a nice guy. I mean, he's pilled, but whatever. Like, you know.
Yeah, he's super pilled. He's ultra pilled.
But we're talking about the Pepe who Kekbar, that guy?
Yeah, there's Pepe Kekbar, and then there was another one.
This is Pepe who Kekbar. P. Kekbar.
Yeah, that's Kekbar. He's come on my show before on Dank Memes. He was very strange.
Yeah, I mean, he has
a crazy mustache.
Well, he's just talking. I mean, whatever. He's pilled and like defending QAnon, but he's He's trying to like be a person. I respect that. That's all right.
Yeah, no, I definitely get it. Like,
but you're saying that guy was there?
I don't think that guy was there.
Okay.
I don't think that guy was there. I just think that he was into QAnon in the very beginning and then slowly wormed his way into being in the social group. Like, there's a lot of people that were following Cicada that just all of a sudden hopped onto QAnon. Like, it was very strange. Like,
well, that's what
people,
Snow White did, right?
Exactly. Snow White did shit like that. And then when I was talking to Microchip, I had no understanding that he was this fucking Christian guy that was also Fried Oregon. I didn't even realize that when I interviewed him and I was seeing his name as Fried Oregon, and I didn't understand. Like, my whole brain was just kind of fucked at that point because I was like, wait a minute, is this the guy that's just been making all these videos? Because I thought that I was getting punked at that point. And then later on, I see emails from Christian Smith, who I guess, a.k.a. Fried Oregon, is talking directly to Thomas. And I'm just kind of sitting here like, fuck. It was like when I was sitting in front of my desk in Texas, and Thomas sends me like a donation for like $100 from Joe Billionaire. And then I go back to my email, and it's Joe Billionaire, the guy that said that he wasn't Thomas. And I was just like, holy shit. You know, like, not only has he been lying to me all this time, like, you know, like, he played this gag. So I got hit with that gag once from Thomas, and then I got hit with that gag again with the Microchip Fried Oregon connection. Because at first, you know, I was thinking that it was Justin McConney because he was the only person that, you know, had been hanging around with me at that time and actually seemed interested in doing anything with it. And after that point, I really didn't even talk to him at all, other than
But the thing that keeps striking me here is like, if there was like 60 people in the room and you presented the whole idea, right? Like, weren't there multiple fucking Qs in October going at each other?
Well, I mean, when the trip code got posted.
No. Even before the 28th. There was
another person posted as Q.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Trek Q.
Yeah, there's a couple of them, like, and then they seem to like come to an agreement at some point. Like, these are before like the official Q drops. And it looked to me like there were multiple Qs that are people out there LARPing as Q, you know, in October.
There was.
And what I'm trying to figure, and it seemed like there was an agreement and they merged at some point, like right before. You know, just became the one.
Exactly.
And so what I'm interested in is who are those different Qs, and could it be somebody you had no fucking idea, you know, just went with the idea, right? Because it's all the same idea, right?
Yeah, it's all the same idea basically, but the whole point is that like, it was supposed to be kind of like a Fight Club narrative where I'm not supposed to know who anybody is. And I was like, I don't want to know any of your goddamn names. Don't tell me who you are. Don't tell me anything about yourself. Like, I don't even want you to look at me. I want you to sit forward and look forward. You know, don't even look at me. Because, like, this needs to be, like, good, right? Like, I was like, this has to be solid if this is going to work. And I was like, it doesn't matter who is going to do this. It just needs to be a person that's willing to, like, fucking do it. And later on, we get Microchip and fucking JB, and those were the first two people that proclaimed to be these guys and actually had some evidence. And then later on, JB comes back and waffles, but it's like JB waffling doesn't really do anything because he's not the person that had anything to do with posting any of that stuff or even involved with hardly, I guess, like, he was talking to Pasobic and their friends. And then I have there's an actual video of fucking Jack saying that, oh, Microchip's one of my fucking friends, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I was just kind of like, so if it's this Christian Smith guy, then it has to make more sense because it's he would have been somebody that lives around where Pasobic lives that could have gone to his gym to actually work out with him. at the same time, like, that guy's like, oh yeah, I'll never meet you in person, you know, like, I'm never going to talk to you in, you know, real life or whatever. That's what Microchips told me, because I was just kind of like, holy shit, you know, like, I had no idea that he was some super alt-right, like, Nazi guy, but then it absolutely makes sense that he would be hanging out with Thomas Schoenberger. Right. And that's the connection that I didn't actually have, because I figured I was, like, pulling a fast one on them, but really they were just like, okay, well, you know, it's a good idea, so we're going to just kind of play this one together on our own.
So do you think do you think it's possible that Thomas was working with Microchip?
Yes, I think it's almost 100% possible, because after
the reason why I'm asking you this is because a few times you've said that he had nothing to do with it until November. But
yeah, I don't think he had anything to do with it until November, because that's when he started talking about it.
But it's possible that he was talking to Microchip about it before that, whether or not he was talking to you about it.
Exactly. I just don't have that information. Like, so I only go off of what I know.
No. I'm totally. All I'm trying to do is understand what you know and what you don't, and so because I'm trying to square this. I believe you. Like, I believe it doesn't. You don't sound like you're bullshitting me at all. But it conflicts in some ways with some other things that I know. And so what I'm trying to do is just work that out with you. It's not an accusation or anything. I'm just saying I have really good evidence that Thomas was thinking about it and doing shit about it, like, from, say, June. Like,
well, I can point out that Thomas was working with Fried Oregon in June, like, they were making videos and stuff, and it was all around the same time that the Memphis Maersk bombing hoax happened, and then there was the Seth Rich file hoax that was like 2 weeks before that, I think it was. So, like, those two events, like, coincide with the starting of the Cicada puzzle on June 1st. So it's like Cicada puzzle got posted, Seth Rich spoof got done. 2 weeks later, there was the hoax thing, and it was all the same characters who were all working together.
When was the meeting?
The meeting was in, believe it was in September. Yeah, let's look at my fucking timeline, motherfucker.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
I have a timeline.
Forgot you like Google.
I have too many fucking tabs open, motherfucker. Oh, it's fine. I'll just open up another one. Oh, there it is. Oh, I think I closed it. I did close it. So let's see. So, Dallas. That is Dealey Plaza, so I know what's his face's house is up in Richardson near Plano. So that's gotta be it right there. That's Richardson Heights Village. Nope. Pretty close. Pretty close. Is that it? No, that's where we're staying. That's where I got the haircut. Oh, yeah, he's in Plano. Wow, where the hell is that shit? I don't know. Maybe it's this one? No, that's Starbucks. Why don't I have a blip on his fucking house? I don't know, sometime in September. Because we were there twice.
Mm-hmm.
So I have doubles. So let's see. Year... Was it 2017? No. 2018? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, 2018. So is that it? Oh, that's the Starbucks. So had it been sometime in September?
Wait, no. 2018? No.
No, that's
2017.
Let's see.
I mean, the I mean, it started in 2017, right?
Yeah, no, I'm moved on that one. I don't have anything from that.
All right. That's all good. No, I'm just trying to work out, like, that was at DEFCON, right? You can just do DEFCON.
I talked about it at DEFCON. DEFCON was in July. I'm trying to remember when the first meeting was. So it would have probably been at this one. So
didn't you say you were passing out QR codes at DEFCON?
Yeah, I was passing out QR codes at DEFCON. So I think after this is... So it had to have been around the same time in September.
Wait, didn't you just say July?
Yeah, well, July is DEFCON.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so you didn't have a meeting at DEFCON in July?
The meeting that I talked about QAnon was at DEFCON in July.
In July.
DEFCON.
Not in September.
Yeah, you're talking about a different meeting. Like, I'm talking about July 27th through the 30th is when DEFCON happened.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the one where you told everybody what your plan was for Q.
That's DEFCON.
DEFCON July?
In July.
Okay.
Of 2017.
All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I got this. Because it's important, because... if you just told people in September, I sort of have a hard time believing.
I told Thomas about it in September, meaning I had a quick conversation with him in September, like on a phone call, where it's like, "Hey, have you heard about this Q thing?
Oh, I see.
I hear you think it's going to be cool." That's all I said to the motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And then in early November, he was like saying it was like him and shit. And then I think it was like, what was one of his pieces of evidence? This is the fucking email right here. And this is when I was like, all right, what the fuck, dude? And this is 3 days after, I got a confirmation that, okay, they're done. We're supposed to be done. And this is sent to me from Beth. And it was this email from Thomas talking to some fucking math professor claiming that Q has gotten a life of its own. And this was what Thomas was trying to use to say that he was like involved with it. And I was just like, so you created QAnon, Thomas. You put all this stuff together. You did all this stuff. And, I never even mentioned anything about DEFCON or anything like that. I was just like, so this was like your whole thing. So this is just another Cicada psyop. And he was like, yeah. That's exactly, it's one of my guys that's doing the posting, we're just trying to like have a little bit of fun with some people, but it's not supposed to be like bad or anything like that. And I was just kind of like, wow, that's really weird, because in my brain, I definitely remember going to, DEFCON and talking about all this stuff and this being very interesting.
What's Pasobic doing then on August 2nd? What the fuck's he doing? What is that? Why is he running that op? I don't understand.
In 2017, 18?
No, 2018. You know that video, right?
Yeah, I remember the video. I remember talking to him about it and like giving him information, and then saying, he was like, I want to talk to the person that actually posted his Q. And I was like, all right, fine. They'll get into contact with you soon. And then I made a video on my channel saying that so-and-so needed to get into contact with fucking Jack Pasobic, and then it happened like right after that, because dipshit always watches my goddamn channel because it's fucking fried working. So he goes and watches the channel, contacts Jack Pasobic. I guess they know each other. Jack Pasobic says, we're going to ditch the whole DeFango angle. That shit's just bullshit anyway. And then we're just going to go and say that it was you, and, maybe not even bring up JB, and then just put out our information. So, like, I literally look like a fucking asshole. I was like, okay, I've been talking to Jack Pasobic, he says that he's going to, do a thing on Q. I gave him information on Thomas. I mean, I went through all the shit with him, and nothing. He just did his own thing, and it's because he's friends with fucking Microchip.
So he
decided that's what he was going to do with the story. So that was his own psyop on the psyop. Nice. The psyop for the psyop artist from fucking Navy at his finest.
No, but you don't believe that he was just reporting on it, right?
I know that he wasn't just reporting at it. I said I don't know how many times I got to keep saying it. It's like I'm pretty sure when I was at DEFCON 2017 at the whistleblower meeting, I only recognized 2 people: Jack Posobiec and fucking Justin McConney. Jack Posobiec. I recognize Jack Posobiec. That's one of the only people I remember. And the only reason I recognize him is because I remember saying, yeah, and then we could get like one of those reporters like Jack Posobiec. And then a bunch of people laugh. And then I look over and it's like, is that fucking Jack Posobiec? Oh. And he was like, hey, I thought, what the fuck? And I was just like, oh, well, maybe we don't use that guy. I don't know. So whatever, like I figured he would, be the perfect person to expose it because, like he was a reporter that was there and he could be like, yeah, but apparently he wanted to go a different way with it. And like, did he even promote it? I mean, after 2018?
No.
When did he promote it in 2017?
You mean QAnon?
Yeah, when did he promote it in 2017?
He didn't. Because it was an InfoWars joint.
Yeah, it was an InfoWars joint. Well, all these Cicada people have direct ties into InfoWars. They were trying to loop me in with Rob Dew, and when I was
so what the fuck happened? So what then happened on November 25th or 27th or whatever? It got handed to Beans. By who?
No, the trip code was posted. So somebody posted the trip code for the thing. So they posted Matlock, go nuts, which was the trip code to post as Q, meaning that at that point anybody could post as Q. So anybody that went into the thing, they could just type Q, hashtag Matlock, and then they could post as fucking Q. So at that point, Q is supposed to be dead because anybody could be Q. And at that point is when the kerfuffle started, where people were like trying to figure out what they were doing, and this is when Beans, Corsi, and the InfoWars joint, like with Cicada supporting their nutsack with the Follow the White Rabbit shit. This is when this stuff happened, because like Thomas was telling me on one side, oh, well, we're out of it, we're not doing it anymore, we're done. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden it pops up over on 8chan, and I was like, well, that's pretty quick. I didn't expect that to happen so fast, but it did. And they were posting under the same trip code because the software is basically identical. These guys are not rocket scientists. They're just taking something they found off the internet, installing it, re-uploading it. So there's really not that much difference between the way that these things are encoding stuff. It's a DES encryption. So like anybody could have used that trip code over on the other one and it would have worked because it's the same software. Right. Exactly the same.
Right.
They copied each other.
Right.
And everybody thinks Frederick Brennan's some kind of like crazy genius.
No,
he just like installed the software. Congratulations.
Right.
Good job. And like he, at this point, like I was like, okay, so this was part of what I was postulating would happen. I was like, well, if you're gonna go over to the other one, start posting on it, like they can never confirm themselves to be real Qs, so like people are gonna start having to come up and
so you're just saying that so the trip got posted, and you're saying that like Tracy and those guys just kind of picked it up?
Yeah, they just picked it up. Like that we wanted them to. Like we left the keys on the table and we were like, hey man, don't you guys want to go drive this real nice Ferrari?
Right. Who posted the trip?
I'm pretty sure it was Chip, Microchip.
Okay.
Because he's the only one that has the personality to burn it down, that was like willing to actually burn it down. And then like at that point, he's probably also the one that helped them actually understand that they could post, because it took them a little while to figure that out. Like I feel like somebody actually had to tell them that they could have done that, because they would have never figured that shit out if somebody would tell them. So, and that's another thing is that, you know, fucking Ron, 8chan and shit, like, at the beginning of it, like, you know, Paul Ferber is a guy that basically had started off, like, being one of those people that was being real Phariseeistic about this whole Q thing. It was helping move people over. And then Tracy Beans and Corsi, you know, were, like, getting on YouTube basically saying that they're confirming it and they have information. And it's like, what? You know, like, it was the most insane thing. And then we had the InfoWars joint that happened, which was just, you know, stupid, in my opinion. But at that point, what people didn't know is that I was talking to Thomas, and he was like, oh, yeah, we could get you onto InfoWars. And when I wasn't rolling with his style, he ditched me, and then he sent Rob Dew over to Unirock. And then Unirock and Rod Dew started doing shows together, and it's like, wait a minute, like, how did this even, you know, fucking happen? And we found out that one of Thomas's, like, right-hand guys, this Jib Camera fellow, is literally the guy that runs the, well, for a while at least, was running the Jib that was filming Alex Jones.
Yes, Jonathan.
So it's just like, you know, this is such a small world. It's like these InfoWars fucks were literally watching me, and then I would sit there and talk shit about InfoWars and, like, constantly. So, like, I was always pissing off Jonathan, but then he was like a moderator in my chat. I didn't know. It took me a long time to figure that shit out, and when I figured it out, I'm just like, oh my god, like, how disgusting are these fucking people, you know?
Right.
Like, they're literally, like, so embedded into all of this, like, this to the point where you could be embedded in all this. It's like when I talked to fucking Esteban, you asked me about him a long time ago, and never got to say anything, really, but, like, I told him a lot, and it was all purposeful, because I knew that he had some kind of, like, ulterior motive on it.
Right.
And just watching his demeanor, you know, like, at first he was like my friend, and then he just was like ragging on me, and then he went to everybody else,
right,
and then put their stories out before mine, and he was just kind of like, fuck you. And
right.
I was just like, okay, you know, like, so everybody else is more important than me. So that was a whole psyop that I had to deal with on my own. And, you know, like, all of the characters are involved, and it was basically planned to the point where even Lestat was claiming that in his article in the beginning that he was involved with Cicada back in 2016. And then when I spotted it, they updated it. Because I was just like, wait, you were in there since 2016? Really? I didn't know that. Like, what the fuck? You know, like, I was like, how deep... Like, how long have you guys been, you know, like, just fucking lying to me about this shit? You know, like, I thought that I was just, you know, like, doing a thing, but I figured, okay, you know, I was doing something, I was trying to expose the group or whatever, and I did. And, you know, it didn't matter because, like, I was exposing the Cicada portion, and I was trying to explain to people that these are the same people that were running with Q. Although I wasn't trying to associate Lestat to it. I didn't even have any idea that he had done anything with War Drummer or any of these other channels until he had told me about it. And I was just like, oh, wow. Well, that's cool, man. Jesus.
Right.
You guys are into... I was like, well, you were into some other shit that I didn't know about. My bad. But that's cool.
Yeah, all right,
you know,
all right.
I don't talk... You know, at this particular juncture, a lot of these guys... were into their own thing, and I just was like, okay, this is what I know up until this point. After that point, you know, like, I've just been watching like everybody else, and I've just been saying, it's these guys, and it's the same people that we've been pointing out, you know, same people the Snake's been pointing out. You know, he's pointing them out because, you know, like, I pointed them out to him, and then he went and got more information because he was actually friends with half of them before he was friends with me. He was on his own, like, intersection with them indoctrinating him and getting him to do shit, telling him that they were going to pay him tons of money for, and he was going to be making Hollywood videos and shit. I think it's heartbreaking what they were doing to him. And when I realized when they were doing it to me, he doesn't understand that. I immediately applied it to him, and I was like, well, fuck. So that means they're doing it to me, they're doing it to this guy, they're doing it to this guy, you know, like everybody that I know.
Good.
And I was like, so it's the same gag. And
that's exactly right.
Tell Lestat about it.
That's exactly right.
Lestat told me F off, and then, you know, he had to experience it for himself, and that's fine, you know, whatever, you know, that was his journey. I just don't understand, like, where the major vitriol comes in, because I've only ever asked him to just reach back out to me. I was like, hey, man, I tried to contact you, you want to talk to me, you blocked me, and I was like, but I just want to talk to you, you know, like, mano a mano. I was going to take away the strikes, I was going to, like, do all of this shit. I was willing to do all that. All I wanted you to do was to come to the table. That's not too much to ask, right? Like, I didn't think I was asking too much.
Yeah.
And I waited a long time to do all the stuff that I did, and I'm at this point, I'm still willing to do all that. I have been. I just like, yo, just talk to me and just explain to me, like,
look,
particular side of this.
Like, I hear you. Well, look. I mean, look. That's the first time I heard you say some of that shit myself. So that's good. That's awesome. Look, he'll get there. I know he will.
I don't have a problem with him.
I hear you. Well, you do though, because you spent, you know, I don't know, 15% of the time we've been together, like telling me about how fucked up Lestat is.
Nope.
I'm just saying, you know, it's all good, man. I get it. I really do. I'm not, you know, I just I see both of you guys got fucked up by the same like people, and you know, let's move forward. Let's get rid of them, and then we can fucking, you know, work on whatever it is you guys need to work on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Zach Helm.
Who's that?
Who is that? Oh. That's who that is. American film director, Stranger Than Fiction.
Oh man, I love that. I love that fucking movie. Have you seen that movie?
Uh-huh.
It's really good.
It's a great movie. I like this movie too.
Yeah.
Although that's more of a just I like Disney.
Yeah, it's good.
Wow, no, what the fuck? Oh, this is one of the emails that I sent to fucking Lestat. Actually, yeah, here we go. I think this might actually be something. I don't know, my brain does this thing where you talk to me and then eventually it'll actually find the thing that it's looking for. Although
Trust me, man.
I haven't been smoking a ton of weed, so it actually takes me longer to find things. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
It makes perfect sense, Evan. Perfect sense, man. It really does.
So, here we go. So originally when I started hearing about this stuff, it took a while for Thomas to send it to me, I believe. But it was the original articles to Kathy Conrad. So Kathy Conrad is when they were trying to actually do their original movie flick. She was the movie producer type person that was running it with Insurgent Films. And, like, from Zach Helm, and it says, hi.
Was Insurgent Paramount?
Yeah, I think so.
That was.
She was trying to sell that to. She was trying to sell it to Sony, though. That was a Sony deal.
Right.
That's when they were making it like an NSA hacker type movie, where there's actually a movie coming out that was directed by a completely different group, which should still be connected to this whole entire thing and just be like one big psyop, like promotion for this stupid movie. Would be the Cicada 3301 film that's coming out.
Yeah, I saw. It's like a comedy or something.
Yeah, that's the one. Wow. Oh yeah, Grindstone Entertainment. Alan Richton's comedy.
Yeah, I just
Lionsgate.
I just don't understand this at all. Like I don't know what the fuck's going on with this. Why in the hell is this movie getting made?
What do you mean? Why is this movie getting made? Because everybody loves Cicada 3301, dude.
Yeah, but this fucking movie doesn't make any sense. It's like,
doesn't make any sense.
Huh?
What do you mean it doesn't make any sense?
It's like I'm looking at
It's literally my story.
This is your story?
Apparently.
Wait. Well,
like,
how so?
This thing was getting put together after the whole thing I did went done. This thing, like, they started filming on it and shit. But, like, it was just very strange to me that this thing started off when I told Thomas about this. He was not aware of this whatsoever. But he could have just been lying and been aware of it. And that might have been why he was pushing to get the trademark in the first place with Michael. Yeah. Because they were like, oh, shit, somebody's fucking doing a movie on Cicada 3301. And then there was that other thing.
Right.
That came out in France that, you know, names Thomas as, like, a creator of it. But legitimately, like, there was already people that had stuff working together. And the really strange thing about this is the person that was Maria, like, some crazy person. She was, like, supposedly funding this film originally, but she ended up being, like, a psyop in herself. And then, like, I started seeing about this movie came up when I first started hearing about this was when we were in Texas in 2018, like around the birthday. I was like, I had made a video about it, and it pissed off Thomas because he was like, what? You're talking about my movie? And I was like, no, I'm talking about this other one that you don't even know anything about. And
right.
He was just like, he had no idea. He acted like he had no idea, but he did know who Alan Richton was, and he said, oh, well, I talked to that guy, and, you know, like, he was saying that they were going to be maybe making a video about his life or whatever, but, like, this movie itself seems to be on its own, like, thing. It's just, like, so strange that I did all of this shit on the internet, you know, like, for my, like, Cicada business or whatever that I went through, where I was, like, going through it, but it ended up being a comedy because it was completely fake and everything was just, like, ridiculous.
Right.
You know, down to Thomas and everything else. So, like, regardless of whatever this fucking movie's about, I'm like, dude, this is, like, my fucking story. I don't know, you know, if I hadn't done this YouTube thing for Cicada, and, you know, like, push Cicada 3301 back into, like, the limelight, I guess. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it was almost like people didn't even care about, or, like, people cared about it, but we had their own Pharisees, like the City Solver group.
Right.
The ones that had the freaking documentary made about them. That group, they, like, basically are the Pharisees, like, these Q people are the Pharisees that, like, promote Q, but they promote Cicada 3301 as this ideology, but, like, Marcus Weiners and, like, all these people involved, they all fucking know who Thomas is.
Yeah. Oh, they sure do. I've seen they've been fighting on Twitter.
Yeah, and I caused that because I wanted people to be aware. It's like, this is how far the psyop goes, is that it goes all the way back to 2012. So if Thomas didn't fucking create it in 2012, he was fucking there fucking with those people. And I just think that those guys are so inept that they basically flubbed up and pissed off the persons that actually had the fucking PGP key because they wanted to sell it into being a movie and stuff, and that's basically how they got edged out. And sometime in 2012, Marcus Wanners is totally aware of who Thomas Schoenberger is, was in the fucking, like, Discord or whatever they were talking on at that time, IRC probably, and they were fully aware. And when they got the story, they didn't like the story, so they basically Phariseed up, they mounted together, and then they just basically distilled the goodness of Cicada 3301 and the idea that they wanted it to be, and then that's basically what they're selling to everybody in the world. But the reality of it is far stranger, and I can understand, like, why Marcus would want to not talk about it, because then it's like, you know, he's a 16-year-old kid that's literally being groomed by fucking criminals.
Right. And
it adds a whole other side to it. And if you look at Thomas Schoenberger's thing, like, generally he is getting these young kids in.
Yeah.
He's basically, like, fucking psyoping them into doing whatever he wants and believing whatever he wants. Listen to my music so I can psyop you. La la la, like, it becomes this very disgusting, like, thing that I just don't understand, where people aren't, like, don't see it more clearly than it is. But, like, a lot of people need to understand that the Cicada group was involved with doing a lot of stuff. So, like, the Cicada organization is just the face for, like, bringing people in, but, like they say, it operates in groups. So first they put you in the puzzle brigade, And then once you graduate the puzzle brigade, they'll move you into another one, and they separate you and isolate you into a new group doing new different things. And it's like Fight Club, basically. So, like, the way that they're manipulating people and isolating people and putting them together, like, Thomas has multiple groups of people that he's running that are doing different things.
Yep.
And operating in different ways. So it's like, I only have a specific side. Lestat has his specific side because technically we were in the same group, but he was in a different group.
Right.
So, like, we were in the same group, and then when I left, he got promoted into a different group, so he got more inner sanctum with, like, Lisa, and, like, he got in with a different group of people, but technically he was, like, already in with those people because he made videos. They acquired him, like, you know.
Yeah, no, I understand.
After him.
Yeah.
Right? And they went after me because I had something that they wanted, you know, like, that was giving them the traffic that they desired. And literally, it was all pushed for them to get this movie made. But this other movie came out basically doing the same thing, where it's just like Thomas had been talking with these people about making a movie, and they just kind of, like, took the idea, just ran with it, made their own thing.
Right.
And it just is kind of like comedy because it's going to be out, you know, it's a comedy thriller, but I mean, I don't know, you know, like, it doesn't sound like it's me. It doesn't sound like my story at all, you know. It sounds like some completely different, like, thing. It's really strange.
I totally. That was my exact reaction. Was like, this sounds ridiculous. It sounds like somebody is trying to whitewash the brand or something. Like, it doesn't have much to do at all with anything. Like, right?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'd love to see it. I just laugh. I'm just like, why don't they, like, hit me up, man?
Yeah,
no,
I hear you.
Wiped out of existence.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet it'll probably be better than all this other stuff that they were probably trying to do. It's just, like...
Well, I mean, better than the psyop TV show they were trying to do or whatever the fuck. Hey,
That's what it was.
Yeah, I think it was. Hey, man, I should probably let you go because I'm literally about to pass out from... I gotta eat something.
Yeah, dude. No worries, man.
But has nothing... You there still?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just turned off the stream.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm really grateful, and I'm literally just, like, you know, like, getting lightheaded. It, like, really, really helped me a lot in a whole bunch of different ways. And I definitely am gonna have questions. One favor, and I don't mean it to be like homework or whatever, but one thing we didn't talk about was the people that I pasted in from that list, from the video, from the chat room with Flynn.
Oh, right.
Remember that one?
Here, let's, like, I know what I remember that one. You sent it to me on Signal.
Yeah.
I just not on my computer. That's why I couldn't pull it up.
No, all good.
I know many of those names, actually. Well, not many, but...
Well, just any names that you can put like, like, who the fuck is it? Were they there from the beginning? Like, what sort of cell do they tie into? Because the thing that's most interesting to me is that it puts Thomas and Jim Watkins together.
It does. Solid MAGA. That's the number one. The other one's P. Cat Bar. Which you're already talking to.
Yeah.
Code Monkey is obviously one of them. The Dustin Pernier guy. Our Queen is fucking Jim.
Yeah.
I didn't know General Flynn was in that one. Let's see, what else do we have? Liam Marzano. The Blake Ford guy is...
I think Leah is, they said was Doug Stewart's girlfriend or something.
Leah Marzano? That's Doug Stewart's girlfriend?
I think some...
I thought hers was Leah's... I thought her it must be one of her alts.
Yeah, I think it's an alt. But I think they were like, yeah, that's a microchip alt. or Microchip girlfriend. I mean, was she like involved in his ops and shit?
No, they actually know when they met.
Okay, so
like, they didn't meet until 2018.
Right.
And after they met, we were digging into the thing. She was a fangirl for Adam Gingrich and the MAGA Coalition. And then when Doug Stewart showed up on the scene, she was like, "Oh, Doug Stewart's trying to take down QAnon, who's ragging on our people. So Doug Stewart's the greatest." And then she was basically pining over him really hard. And then when we had a meeting in New York City, there was like a MAGA meetup that Glenn threw, where I ate a taco bowl. I got really drunk, which I showed you that taco bowl.
You did.
That's when they met, actually, and that was like the first time they had met in person together. But like they hadn't been running any ops. Like she was just like getting on his dick at that point, and then she got on the dick, and then after that, she's just been basically like, Doug Stewart is God for the rest of her fucking life.
No, but she runs ops with him now.
Yeah, she runs ops with them now, for sure.
Yeah, that's my question. Like, could that be her? Like, does it make sense that it would be her?
Here, I'm going to copy the name and look it up. I mean, it could be her, honestly, but...
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out, because, look, if we can put Microchip, fucking, J-Anon, what looks clearly like a Thomas sock...
oh, that's not Leah.
Okay. Cool. Someone said that to me.
Because if it was her, I would have been blocked. But there's actually a picture of her, and definitely she's not as hot as this chick.
Okay.
But yeah, Solid Mag is probably going to be the big one, and Pepe Stan 3 is going to be a big one. Because all those guys were crossovers into other servers that were like super alt-right and shit. And one of them, I think, is like Tight Anime Bunghole or some shit like that. Like, that's probably one of the... I know that sounds like a really bad name for a server, but that's one of the ones that they were using pretty regularly.
All right.
Because I know that they were crossing over, like each of these different servers had a bunch of people that were in there.
Yeah.
And I only had the group that I talked to, and then after that, I'm just watching fucking videos go from saying one thing to saying another thing to sending me emails and shit and trying to confirm his association and then saying that he's disassociated while still it seems that he's associated. And then we have a falling out. I keep telling everybody about it, and I don't know, it is what it is, dog. Like, there was a lot of shit that went on, maybe I chose to do it in my way, but these guys are basically, they've been in charge, and it's just like they've been just passing it around between this stuff. So, like, if you got inroads on these groups that shows who's actually fucking in there and shit, like, to me it just seems like a lot of these guys were there from the beginning of 8chan, and then just basically have been running it together. Like, I don't think Jim and Code Monkey were on it at the beginning. I think that they came in at a certain point, and that's when Ron was like, "This is real QAnon," and I think that that's when they finally decided that this merchandising operation is going to take up. We're losing sales,
right?
And I think they forced them. I think they forced a lot of people out at that point.
Yeah.
And then you started getting thundered because they were directly attacking people, and then they brought other people, the old group, back in, and we're like, all right, we'll play nice, and you can make money and we can make money. Let's just make money.
Yeah.
Really, like,
I don't think this is about. I mean, it might be for Jim, right? Everybody's got their own reasons, but it's not about money.
For Jim's, they got money. For Thomas, he wants to create chaos across
Yeah.
the globe.
Exactly.
He wants to create a civil war.
Yeah.
For Microchip, I mean, he just seems to be the same way. These are Discordians. That's their ideology, so, like, they don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I'm not a Discordian, like, I want to save the fucking planet, I'm Manuel and shit over here, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
if it's me, I better do good. But right now, I'm pretty much like not doing great, so I'm pretty safe right now. I think I'm pretty safe. It's not me, but you know, there's a lot of like stuff out there that really just makes me wonder. It's like these people have been fucking with folks for much longer.
Yeah.
And the relationship that they've been doing, the stuff that they've been talking about is insane. Considering the fact that once we've realized that they've been doing this shit probably since like 2012 and even before that, like Cicada is just a face of, it's just the face of their greater, you know, like psyop squad, I guess, you know, the psyop squad, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, they've targeted people, there's, you know, you've talked to people who've been in and been out, been whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, Lisa, if you want to look at even the bigger picture, Lisa is, like, Thomas was a pretty fucking low-rent scumball before fucking Lisa showed up.
Yeah, when Lisa showed up, Lisa did anonymous, she took it all over, and
I mean, she's a fucking expert at this shit. She did, you know, Occupy and Thrive and Anonymous and fucking No Dapple and Standing Rock and Cicada and QAnon. I mean, that's exactly what she is. So
exactly, and they're dangerous, you know, dangerous people, dangerous ideologies, and they are willing to do it to either side. They don't care.
Yeah, no. It's not political. It's It's about power and ideology.
Yeah, it's power and control, basically. It's
yeah. But also genuine idea. Like these people are seriously mind fucked. All of them. Like they all believe this shit. Mm-hmm. Like they're genuine accelerationists. Like,
well, yeah, and that's what they've been trying to do, and that's like why I was like, okay, well, if we like fuck this up for them, you know, like it's gonna stop it, but you know, I'm gonna have to take a bunch of heat for it and flack and be a bad guy for a while, and that's fine with me. I don't mind it. I'm just like, at a certain point, you know, some people have got to realize that, you know, I'm not a secret agent, and I really didn't do anything of importance. I just stumbled into a situation, and then
you gotta understand that even the story you're telling me about the meeting with 60 fucking people in it,
it sounds fantastic.
No, I'm not even questioning that. I'm saying that, like, in that case, you did fucking start this, right? Like, in retrospect, can you really say that it's a good idea to tell a whole bunch of fucking, you know, people like that you should go out and do a giant psyop on the American people?
Yeah, I thought it was I still think it's a pretty great idea, because, I mean, you know, as soon as we wrap this one up and, you know, people start getting locked up, sealed indictments, the whole 9 yards, start getting arrested, I mean, it's going to be comical. I mean, I probably got one for me, too, if we're going to play that game. Although, the difference between me and them is that my ideology has always been based in the word obey.
Uh-huh.
So, like, you know, trust the government, obey, do all of these things, and that's always who I've been, you know, like, I've done other shit. It's a necessity, like piracy. Okay, that's probably the worst thing that I've ever done. But this other thing is like, did I have any integration with this psyops other than, you know, just being a dumbass looking at all of them? People would be like, hey, did you know the Earth was flat? And then spending a fucking 3 weeks researching why the Earth was flat, and then having to retrain myself that the Earth was not flat. I mean, there's a lot of these things where I've like literally willingly exposed myself to all these dangerous ideologies, specifically for the purposes of understanding the people behind them, you know, like that's how when I started into Cicada, I was just like, these guys are just like the fucking IAM people, only, you know, like really low key about it. But
did you know about the IAM people before them?
Oh yeah, I knew about the IAM people before then because I was researching into the 1111 and
I was
looking at that. I have all that shit going back for years, to the point where I actually was making videos where I would like read those out. People would be like, "Oh my god, where are you getting this shit from?" And it was just like all I had to do was read it out, and I realized I was like, "Holy shit!" You know, like that's exactly how they get these people, because eventually they're gonna get one person that's gonna take the shit and start reading it out on the internet, and then that person's gonna be huge.
But you didn't introduce I am to them, did you?
No, I didn't introduce I am to them. They already had known about it. Like, it was strange. So, like, in early 2013, I was researching into Saint-Germain.
You were?
It was hilarious. Yeah, I was, actually, because I had met a guy at a music festival who had proclaimed that he was Saint-Germain, and he had given me a guitar. Well, he technically didn't give me the guitar, but basically I gave him a jacket. He just disappeared, but he left his guitar, and then somebody gave me the guitar as like a thing, and he had like a blue booklet in there with a bunch of shit written down on it that said Saint-Germain and shit like that, and I was just like, alright, who the fuck is the Saint-Germain character? Because this guy was straight, like, outrageous. He was wearing all purple. Like, he really thought that he was Saint-Germain. And the thing is that I had just done DMT the night, like, probably, like, 4 or 5 hours after that, so I had a pretty interesting experience, and then I went down to the massage beds, and I got buffed out by, like, 3 really hot chicks, and then after I got buffed out, this guy was just standing there wearing purple, and he was calling himself Saint-Germain. It was a wild experience, and I didn't know, really, I had heard about it, read stuff about it, had seen it, like, listed in some of the Theosophical texts, and then I had seen a lot of Saint-Germain stuff about it, and I was just like, whatever, you know. But I had done an invocation at one point on the internet where I had found an invocation of Saint-Germain, and, you know, like, I just read it or whatever. And then literally, like, 15 minutes later, I was, like, walking to work, and some guy walked by me and said that he was Saint-Germain, some sort of vampire, you know, 900-year-old vampire, the whole 9 yards. Asked me for some help fixing his car. I helped him fix his car, and then he took off. Weird experience. And then later on, a year later, I read that poem out, and then I was at this thing, and that's when I ran into the Saint-Germain character again. After that, I researched it pretty heavily and deeply, and I was just like, alright, well, this is some pretty fucking strange shit, you know. And then, lo and behold, I'm doing the Cicada thing, and fucking Thomas introduces himself as Saint-Germain, and I was just like, you know, about to flip the table at that point, but I couldn't do it. So I was just like, okay, so you're Saint-Germain? Oh, how'd you come by that name? You know, are you a vampire? 900-year-old vampire, give or take, or whatever? And that's how this whole thing, you know, to me was just very strange, is because I had already researched into that stuff. I had already been to it. Like, my YouTube channel started in 2017, and I got really active, like, in early 2014, and started making videos, and had gone through a bunch of shit, then deleted all of that shit, and started over again in 2016, and then did all the same fucking videos again.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, and then went back again and started redoing stuff in 2017. I was fed up, actually, at that point, because when Pizzagate came out, I was trying to debunk Pizzagate, because I was like, it's not about Pizzagate. This whole fucking psyop is completely stupid. It's about the actual contents of the fucking emails that matter, you know, like what actually happened, not the fucking made-up bullshit that you guys are looking into.
Right.
It was pissing me off.
Right.
And after that, I just was like, well, you know, if this is really it, and after Thomas started trying to feed me stuff, and, you know, like, I started